really data privacy is quite important, and it is very important to understand it, right? So in today's talk, I'll basically focus on what are the invisible threats. Invisible in the sense that, users are not aware of those possible threats that could occur because of the data that is leaked, within the digital era, right? So let's start our talk, data privacy in the digital age. So let me just, tell you something about what's going on, right? What's today's scenario? So just a second, let me put this window here, right? Yeah. So if we talk about today's scenario, we see that every action, whatever we do on our, on our mobile phones, on laptop, or on computer or anything, everything is leaves a digital footprint, right? Like whatever you search is recorded, whatever you click is recorded, right? All our browsing trails will record, right? We will use mobile phones. Now, there are multiple applications installed in our mobile phones, and all these applications are actually silently collecting very sensitive data of us, right? Like what are your location, what are the contact details you are having, what are the device identifier, your photos, pictures, gallery, your preferences, everything is getting collected. Now, here I have highlighted a word called silently, right? Why silently? We will know in a minute, right? Now, there are more, apart from all these things, there are many cloud services and smart devices that are constantly being in sync with each other, right? So, for example, if we talk about our mobile phones, or say the Gmail app that is installed in our mobile phone, you have observed that whenever, you get a chance, it always asks that whether we will sync it, with the server or not, right? And everybody of us will actually say, okay, yeah, syncing should be on, it should automatically get synced, right? Similarly, if you have observed the contact details that we have saved in our mobile phones, these contact details are also synchronized with the Google server, right? So even if you lost your phone or you are not able to take the backup from your contact app, you can just log in with your email address and get the entire list of the contact. Why? Because everything is getting synced nowadays. All the smart devices that you put on your in your homes, like CCTV cameras, smart TVs, any other IoT devices, everything is syncing through the clouds, right? So it's not only that your data is present inside your mobile phone or inside the device in which it has to be, rather you can say for the recovery purpose or backup purpose, it is spread all over the cloud, right? And even we don't know where this data is actually saved. Along with this, if you see online platform, right, each and everything, whatever you watch on Netflix, Prime Video, or any other OTT, everything is getting tracked, right? And as per the behavior they are tracking or the profiling that they are doing, you will get accordingly ads or recommendation, etc., etc., right? So all these things, all everything we do, all our nature, like we don't know whether we're going to like this movie or not, but the platform will tell you, yes, you will definitely going to like this video, because as per your past history, you generally tend to like this thing, right? Etc., etc. Now the data breaches are at the same time are rising exponentially. Right, we have every day you can just open the browser and search for the cyber crime or cyber breach or data breach. For today, you will get a long list, right? So all our sensitive data, financial data, personal detail keeps on, exposing. There is a invisible data tracking happen 24/7, often without user awareness or consent. So one thing is some people are asking, or some for that matter, companies are asking that we are syncing your data, we are keeping your data here and there, but there are lots and lots of data that are actually getting synced or transferred or, traveling without even our awareness. We don't even know where this data is going, without user consent and without user awareness, right? So these two are very important things that, actually plays a vital role in privacy violation, right? So we'll have a look at it. All right. Now, if you see, if we talk about data, so Google has built one of the largest and most advanced data infrastructure in the world, right? And we all are witnessing it. All the applications, most of the applications you are using, like let's say browser or YouTube or whatnot, the Android phone itself, everything Google possesses, right? Everything. The owner is the Google. So it is actually processing incredibly 2.5 exabytes of data every single day, right, around the world. This is too much data, right? I don't think any of us who is attending this lecture, they don't have email on, Google, right? Everybody is having Gmail, most of us, right? Similarly, other companies are also not leaving behind, like Facebook, WhatsApp. Everybody is collecting lots and lots of data of users. So WhatsApp, nearly 500 million users are there, and it processes more than 70 million messages a second. Now we are so much used to WhatsApp. Even our professional, not only personal, professional, day-to-day work also, we are much more comfortable in doing using WhatsApp, right? So our data is with them, right? And this is statistics that shows that how much data we are generating globally. And you can see this curve, like 15, it's like 2010, 15 years back, right? The data generation is not that much, and you can see it is growing exponentially, and in 2025 around 181 zettabytes of data has been generated, right? And which is exponentially definitely increasing each year, each day. Fine. So this is one thing. Like we are having lots and lots of data now, which is getting digitized. Now we are not, in a mood to preserve papers, files, data in papers or files. Rather, we prefer that everything should be available online, because definitely it is convenient also. So most of our data is now in the digital world, present in the digital world, in the digital form, right? Whether you can say our medical prescription, now you visit a doctor, immediately the doctor will take your mobile number and email and everything you will get regular updates on your mobile phones via messages. If you go to a hospital, they will make an entire profile. You will get each and everything. Your reports are available using their app, and everything. What medicine, to whom you have consulted, what medicine they prescribed, what is the problem when you visited, what is the next visit date. Everything is there. If we come to shopping, right, you all are witnessing that shopping, we are much more now comfortable in doing online shopping at our doorstep rather than going in a too much crowd also. Similarly, if even you want to eat food, now people start ordering food online, everything, booking a ticket, just go on a open some app and book a ticket, right? No need to go to a railway station to get a ticket booked, right? So everything is now, we are much more comfortable in doing it online. Online also, one important thing which this particular graph is showing, that if you see these three types of devices, right? So I have just taken this data from Stat Counter, and this is a India specific data. In India, you can see the market share of mobile phones is way more than any other desktop or tablet, right? So we are having lots and lots of mobile users, right? And what I want to say here is all the data that we are talking about are now available on our smartphones, right? It's not even on the desktop, it's in our hands, in at our fingertips, right? So now more and more data is processed on smartphones, which includes private, sensitive, even confidential data. The problem is smartphones are also having the capability to leak that data, right? Your smartphone is always connected with internet, right? And if you see the network traffic that is going out of your device, you can see huge network traffic, huge data consumption is there, right? Because smartphone has the capability to leak that data also. So lots of data you put on smartphone in a device which has the capability to send that data outside, right? And hence malware writers keep on finding multiple ways, multiple new ways, that how they can circumvent the existing screening mechanism that is there, right? And the proof that malware writers keep on finding new ways is, you can see the official app stores, right? Doesn't matter which company we will talk about, but all the official app stores still have dozens of malicious app present, right? Every day they tend to down few apps which they found malicious, but for how long it is there, nobody knows, right? So it says that around 46% of world population is having smartphone now, right? And among smartphone, basically we will focus, or we will in technical terms we'll talk more on Android OS, because of the two reasons. The very first reason is it is an open source, right? And the second reason is, if you see this graph, orange line shows the market share of or the popularity of Android operating system, right? So yes, still we have Android users which are far more than any other companies, right? But the main reason to focus is it is open source, right? We cannot work with iOS because it's not open source, right? All right. So this is the problem. So our talk focuses uh, on the this thing, digital or privacy threats that are more focused, happen through mobile phones or smartphones, right? Now, on this slide, there is one question that says why security and privacy is important, right? So, like, we are using these phones like quite before, right? It has been now more than 2 decades. But why suddenly it becomes so important, right? And the reason somehow is shown here, that if you see the stats of data breaches happened in India, right? So it says that this is the data, the statistics told by IBM. They says India faces record-breaking data breach, and the cost of data breach in 2025 is still remaining, right? Till now, the data breach cost 220 million INR, right? Which is way too more. And if you see this country list also, India stands at second position in data leakage, consumer data leakage, right? USA is first, yes, but another problem is, in India, if you see, only 1 in 6 Indian consumer know that what are their data rights. They even don't know that privacy is important, right? And therefore, government is now organizing various security and privacy awareness camps, right? And maybe this FDP is like one part in such direction. So important is awareness. We don't even know that what are our rights, what are the problems what are the problems that could occur if we will not properly handle or properly give the rights to handle our data, right? So low awareness actually is the most important threat to us, right? To Indian citizen at least, right? So that is why it is quite important nowadays, right? And you can see lots and lots of data breaches. So these are some more data breaches, and there are thousands of data breaches, right? Why I put these two in the slide? So the first one, Salesforce data breach, right? And 1.5 billion records has been stolen, right? And the data is contact, support case content, internal file, authentication codes, credentials, etc. And if you see this FinWise employee data, this is an American financial bank company, and you see this. The bank itself says that the incident went undetected for over a year. Like from last 1 year, the data is being leaked, but nobody is aware of the leakage, right? Nobody even knows that our data is leakage. So that is the main problem. Like we don't even know that our data, where the data is going, and what bad could occur to us if the data is misused, right? Now in this slide, what I want to say is, the the problem is why this problem is so challenging. The problem is, if you want to be at a safer side, right? If you want to be a defender, if you want to defend something, you have to have the entire knowledge or an in-depth knowledge of the things that you want to defend, right? But if you want to be an attacker, specifically in security field, if you want to be an attacker or a hacker, there is no need to have more knowledge about the subject, right? So these are few recent cases, and there are lots and lots of cases on these URLs that I have cited below. These are very few, very recent cases where only teenagers, the students who have not even completed their schooling, are able to hack, the system, right? So you can think of the threat, like there are lots and lots of hackers that are roaming around, and people are doing it for fun. People are doing it to, show their what you can say, ability to hack the system or etc. But yes, if you want to defend the system, if you want to protect the system, you need, or you require, a whole lot of knowledge, in-depth knowledge in that particular field. Okay. So with that, I hope I have properly motivated you that why privacy and security is important. And really, this is a subject for national need, because there is one more study that I've read, which shows that almost each and every house in India have witnessed some kind of cyber crime. Definitely, right? One person in your family, definitely, or a person who has came across the cyber crime, right? Or become the victim of the cyber crime. And that's true, right? And it doesn't matter that you are well studied and you have knowledge of everything. So it cannot be occur with you. It can occur with anyone, right? And you have seen that how much messages nowadays we are getting, that, digital, this thing, people will not uh, make you digitally logged or something like that. Don't believe in such messages, etc., etc. So yes, this is growing on and on and on. Even there are many movies that have been developed just to show this thing, right? All right. So now come back to the topic. Now let's talk something about. Let's try to understand what do we mean by privacy, because generally security is very well defined term, and there is a formal definition of security, and we have proper tools to achieve security also. But as we talk about privacy, privacy is not that much well defined, because privacy is something that is subjective in nature. Fine. So let's try to still somehow define privacy, whatever literature we are having right now, whatever research papers we are having right now. So using those research papers, I came to, this I developed this PPT, and let's discuss how best we can define privacy, right? Now, there is a paper, the title of that paper is I Have Nothing to Hide, right? So, the focus of that paper says I have nothing to hide, so I am not very much concerned or I'm not very much worried about my privacy, right? And you have seen many such users near you. They are using mobile phones, they are using smartphones even, but they says that okay, I don't want anything to be secret, like मेरे मोबाइल में कुछ है ही नहीं जो मुझे छुपाना है, right? So like something, I have nothing to hide, so I don't care about privacy, I don't care about security, कोई क्या ही ले लेगा इसमें से, right? So that is the nature that the paper focuses on. And then they try to define privacy. They say that if you say, I have nothing to hide, so I am not concerned about privacy, this statement itself says that somehow people are trying to equate privacy with hiding, right? Or privacy as secrecy, right? So people are trying to say that if something is secret, it is private, privacy is maintained, and if something is not secret, privacy is violated, right? So let's see this with an example. Suppose I'm having my medical records. Now, the medical records are something that is very much private to me, right? That information is some information that is like I don't want my medical records to be gone public, right? Or accessed by somebody from which I don't want. So if somebody will access my medical records, right, what I will say? So we define privacy as secrecy. If we define privacy as secrecy, if somebody will access my medical records, should we say now it is not secret, now it is not private? So now since somebody has accessed my medical record, now they are not become something which is secret. People are know about my record. So now that information is not private, right? So if you consider privacy as secrecy, it is very simple to understand, and it comes like, okay, privacy, it is quite similar to secrecy, right? Maintaining the secrecy. But the problem is privacy really about secrecy? Right. So that is the question. Is it about I know just I or anybody else? Right. So that we have to divide. If something is some information is private, so only I should know that information. Nobody else in the world should know the information. If anyone will know that information, it will not become a secret, and hence it will not become private. So if we define privacy as secrecy, it is a nice definition, simple to understand, but we need something which works better, which can define privacy in a better way, right? So now take similar example. Again, I am having my medical records. Now suppose my neighbor came and my neighbor says that I would like to access the medical records. Fine. This is clearly a violation of privacy. There is no good reason why I will share my medical records with my neighbor, right? My neighbor should not have access of those records. But at the same time, suppose if I just put a small context in the same example, I say that my neighbor is also my doctor. Now, everything, the same situation, still my neighbor wants my medical records. Till now, it is privacy violation. But as soon as I say that my neighbor is also my doctor, now it will make sense to share my medical records with the neighbor. Right now, there is no privacy violation. So privacy violation does not only depends upon whether the information is secret or not, it also depends upon what context is involved with the information, right? So there are four important terms that we have to consider when we define that privacy is violated or privacy is not violated, right? The very first thing is, what is the data? First, you need to know what is the data that we are talking about, right? Second is, who is the data going? Who is accessing the data? Now, the third thing is, how did they receive it? If in the previous case, suppose my neighbor is my doctor, and the doctor will just break into my house and access the record, again it is a privacy violation. No matter that person is a doctor, no matter that person, like, it is okay to share the records with the doctor, but how did they receive it? Whether they receive the record with my proper consent, then only we will say privacy is maintained. So when we talk about privacy violation, definitely how the data is received by the person, how the data is transmitted, is also play an important factor. And the fourth question that we cannot we cannot leave behind is, what will they do with that data? Privacy is not only limited to that their data is transferred properly to the concerned person, we are done, privacy is achieved. No, right? This is true with security. So for example, there is a sender, there is a receiver. If we say that we have delivered a message from sender to receiver without any problem in between, without any security broke down in between, we are done, right? The goal is achieved. But that is not true in privacy. Even if you have securely shared the records with the doctor, you have to maintain that what the doctor will do with that record. Whether, so I am giving, there is a purpose why I am sharing the data. I am giving my health records to the doctor just to prescribe me the medicine or to treat me, right? But on the other hand, suppose the doctor will go and share the my medical records with the, let's say, some health insurance company, and the health insurance company will manipulate the policy based on my records, then this is a privacy violation, right? So the problem with privacy is, it will not just stop if the data is transmitted, it will go beyond that, right? So these are the four very important questions that we have to consider when we are defining whether the privacy is violated or not. About the data, what is the data, what are we talking about, who is the data it is going to, how did they receive it properly, with proper consent, with a written consentment or verbal consentment or whatever, proper permission should be there, and what will they do with the data, the purpose why I have shared that data, only that purpose should be solved, not anything else, right? So if we try to wrap all these things, we will say that we can define privacy as contextual integrity. If you maintain that contextual integrity, the shared information maintain that contextual integrity, we will say privacy is maintained, right? So the very first point which is written in this slide is, data transmission occur in the society, right? So if people say that don't transmit your data, that is not possible, right? Even if we click a picture of our, we will click the picture to show someone, right? If suppose I say that there is no one who will going to look at your picture, generally we lose interest in even clicking the picture, right? We are clicking the pictures to show somebody. So what I am trying to say here is, data transmission occurs in society, nobody will stop, and it is a mandatory thing to happen, right? But where privacy comes into the picture, each transmission should occur in a proper domain of life, right? For example, I'm sharing my video, I have given permission to share my video, and I am delivering this particular lecture in a maybe professional domain of my life, right? But I don't want that when I'm cooking a breakfast, that video will be visible to the audience, right? Why? Because each person have different domain of life, and there are different information or data that are associated with that domain. And what I want is, I just want that like, what privacy is, when proper data shared in only that domain, right? Then we say privacy is maintained. Fine. So data transmission is different for different domain. And that's what we need to check when we say privacy violation, yes or no, whether the data of that domain is shared within that domain only. Fine. So if we try to formally define privacy, we will say it is a tuple of these three important things, right? So the first thing is actor, right? Actor consists of sender, who is sending the information, who is receiving the information, and about what the information is about whom, right? Who is the subject of the information or the data that we are sending. Second is what is the type of the information, and third is transmission principle. What is the principle they are following while data transmission? So these five things: who is the sender, who is the receiver, what is the subject, what is the type of the information, and how that data is transferred, all these things actually combinedly defines CI tuple, right? What is CI? Contextual integrated tuple, right? So if we have all this information, it will become one tuple, and then we will say whether this tuple is accepted or not. What I mean by accepted, whether this tuple, this is the sender, this is the receiver, this is the subject, this is the information type, and this is how it is transmitted. Now you tell me that whether privacy is violated or not, right? So that comes under something called acceptability, right? That whether the CI tuple is acceptable or not. Now the question comes that who actually determine whether this is a valid CI tuple or not, right? So generally we say according to contextual integrity, societal norms will decide that whether this is allowed or not, right? Or there are some laws, right? Depending upon the country we live in, we have certain laws, some social conducts that will define whether the CI tuple is part of privacy violation or not, right? So yes, this is something about what privacy is. Now I think yeah, so this is nothing. It just shows that it is very much related with the information flow, that we are working with. Information flow control and this acceptability of CI has a great resemblance, but how to implement is very important, right? So what actually we want, so how actually I will do it? So suppose I will share my records with the doctor. How will I make sure that the doctor will not reveal those records with some insurance company? I cannot every time keep a watch on the doctor, what the doctor is doing, where he is going, to whom he is talking with, what he is sharing, with whom he is sharing, what he is sharing, etc., etc. Question is how to verify that my privacy is preserved, right? So the requirement is we need a system that will make sure that our information is never revealed, right? So this is definitely not a very straightforward job. Okay, so we have to have some policies, and then we need some technology. These The technology will actually make sure that the policy is followed. Okay, so again, this is an open problem. People are working on this. And this is what we are doing in the research, that we are trying some ways in which we can give some kind of guarantee of privacy preservation. Okay. Now, there is a very beautiful case study given in this paper, Minigraph, which is published in ACM India. There, they say that there is a person named Swara, and she regularly visited a hospital, let's say Asha Hospital, for medical treatment. Now, one day she was told about a mobile healthcare app, right? And what the app will enable her to see the doctor, visit the schedule, book online appointments, make online payment. All her records, personal details are available online, right? So very convenient for Swara to use this app and get everything, like no need to keep all the records here and there. You just open the app and everything is already there, right? So and it helps hospital also, to administer all the patients, to manage all the patients, and obviously to improve their throughput also, like, give timely notification to the patients about next visit or something like that. Okay, so this is the app. Now what is the problem? So if Swara wants to register in this particular app, what she needs to do is she needs to give all this information, right? Ethnicity, date of birth, gender, postal code, marital status, all the diseases. She need to give, and now everything is in this digital form, right? Now, what Swara wonders is, okay, I will give my information to the app, but is it safe to share the personal detail on this app? Apart from information on the disease, why other information are taking into consideration? For example, let's say date of birth or mobile number or address, etc., etc. Who have the access of this data? What if the hospital share this data to some other third party? Is there any possibility of leakage or unauthorized disclosure of this data? Right? And there are lots and lots of questions which are perfectly valid questions. Right? So this is the problem actually, right? It is very convenient to use the applications or the data in the digital form, easy to maintain, easy to search, easy to access, but at the same time there is the problem of keeping it private, right? Now what bad could happen? So I will discuss three basic problem which is related to the information leakage through databases, data storage, right? The first problem is membership disclosure. Suppose the Asha hospital maintain a database. If there is an adversary who will attack on the database of Asha hospital, and the attack is not very powerful, they just know whether Swara is part of this hospital or not, whether the entry of Swara is in the database or not, right? So if the adversary know that Swara record is present in the data set, the adversary does not know anything more, but just know that the Swara is a member of this data set, right? This is called membership disclosure. The membership, that whether this record present in the data set or not, is leaked. That's it. This can have serious consequences, especially if, let's say, Swara is suffering from illness that she don't want to make public, right? And you can see, suppose somebody is suffering from cancer, and there is a membership disclosure that that person is present in the database of that hospital, and the hospital only treats cancer patients, so anybody can know that, okay, maybe this person is having some disease related to that, right? Second, which is more serious than membership disclosure, is sensitive attribute disclosure. Now, there is something called sensitive attributes. So we will see in a few minutes how this sensitive attributes and quasi identifiers are distributed. But if adversary knows about the disease, surely knows about the disease that Swara suffers from, this is called sensitive attributes disclosures, right? So if suppose the membership disclosure is there, we know that Swara is a part of that particular hospital, but we don't know whether she's really suffering from the disease, but sensitive attribute will make sure that yes, she is suffering from which disease. Third is the maximum, effect thing, which is identity disclosure. If adversary has access to Swara's entire record in the data set, then this is called identity disclosure, right? And if identity disclosure is there, all the data, right, is gone, right? What Swara is doing, what the medicines she is taking, etc., etc. Right? And this is something called identity theft because it allow adversary to use her personal information to carry out any kind of fraudulent malicious activity or just to scare Swara or something like that, right? So many bad things could occur if identity disclosure is there. So now, whatever I told you till now is, related with privacy. And as I told you, privacy is little more challenging, or not little more, but way more challenging than security. Why? Because when we talk about security, it is assumed that the user and the attacker are different, right? We will just consider the attacker, that we have to protect this data from attacker, right? But when we talk about privacy, even a legitimate user will become the attacker. So for example, I am giving my record to Asha Hospital and there is a data entry person. The data entry person is a legitimate user. He can enter the data, right? But even he can have access of my records, right? So even that person, if we say privacy violation, yes, privacy violation is still there. So legitimate user is could be an attacker, right? For security, the malicious intent of an unauthorized user can be mitigated by security control, right? Whereas privacy, we have a different set of controls. We even don't know what the person will going to do with our data, right? So if you are having in your company, if you're following a good security framework, it is not enough to ensure privacy, right? So security just take care of the bad guys, we'll say unauthorized user, but privacy also concern about good guys. Authorized user should also not leak your information, right? So as we have discussed the example, I'm sharing my records with the doctor. Doctor is an authorized user, right? Authenticated user, authorized user to access those records. But what if doctor share that data with someone? Right, so even good guys become attacker in privacy. So yes, it is quite challenging, right? So now let's see some threats that are related with the privacy violation. And most of the threats we will talk are much more focused on the data that we stored or shared through our mobile phones, right? So there are many privacy threats, right? I have just, because of the time constraint, just six privacy threats we're going to talk about, and we'll see examples of this. And then I'm going to show you the open research problems in this area, right? Okay. So the first privacy threat is data collection and sharing. Data collection and sharing is a privacy threat. Yes. Why? Because lots and lots of personal data is collected by apps, right? So there are apps. I will show you some experiments that we did at MANIT Bhopal, and you are surprised to know that the apps that are definitely still in your mobile devices, right? And those apps are leaking lots and lots of data, and you are not aware of those things, okay? So yes, app collects location, contact information, device info, and much more sensitive, many more sensitive data, right? Then there is a problem of permission overreach. App requests unnecessary permission, right? So there is this example which says flashlight apps requesting contact list permission. So generally, whenever you app require permission, unknowingly we just keep saying okay, okay, yes, 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 right? Because it doesn't matter. Like what we will say, it's important the app to work, right? What they will take actually, right? But yes, if flashlight is taking requesting for contact list, definitely you have to rethink before giving the permission. There is something called background data gathering, right? So data collected silently while the apps run is happening, right? In the background through services, your data is being gathered and shared with some kind of command and control servers. Then there is third party tracking SDKs, right? Almost all the apps that we have analyzed, we have seen that there are external libraries inside these apps that are keep collecting these data of ours, right? And they are just tracking us 24/7, do user profiling, and accordingly they will customize the entire mobile phone for us. Even you talk with your friend, you will get similar ads on your mobile. So the data leakage will reach to that, data sharing will reach to that level. And I hope everyone who is listening to the talk have came across such situation that I'm just talking about this thing and I'm started getting ads of that particular thing, right? Then external data sharing, data sent to advertisers and analytical companies is too much nowadays. Cross app profiling, combined data is used to build our data profiles, right? So we'll see this also as an experiment that we did here in MANIT Bhopal. Then lack of user transparency. The basic problem is user is unaware of what the data, what is going out, what data of theirs is going out of the device, right? We don't know really. So there are many SDKs, like Facebook came to be one of the mostly used SDK in almost every app that we have analyzed, and they are just tracking all the user activities that all the apps, different apps is doing in the mobile, right? So this is one example. There is a company called Maple Media, and if you open the Google Play Store, you can see this company Maple Media, and the Maple Media has many apps, right? Around, I'm having a picture in the slide also, like around 25 to 30 apps developed by Maple Media, and all those are different type of app. For example, this is some SMS app is there, and this some I don't know, party app is there, some file manager is there, and there are many apps, right? Now all these apps are collecting different type of data of us, right? For example, this SMS app is collecting contact information. Snowboard party app is, let's say, collecting location information and financial information. Some other collected some other information, right? Now all these information are actually stored with Maple Media, right? All the information is going to Maple Media server. What if we link all this information? Definitely we will create the entire user profile of that person. It does not matter if you say that I am giving contact permission to SMS, because SMS app will require contact permission. What is the problem? Suppose I am organizing some using some party app, it will definitely require some kind of location information, financial information. What is the problem, right? True. The problem is when you even don't know whether all these apps are combined in background, the data, all the entire data is combined in the background, and your entire profile will create it, right? So that is the problem. Data, huge data is collected, and then the data is combined or shared to create the entire user profile. The second threat that I would like to focus here is insecure data storage, right? Suppose I am registered with the bank, but what if the bank is keeping the data storage that the bank is using is insecure? Yeah, yeah. They are keeping data in unencrypted form, or they are keeping uh, maybe the database is vulnerable to attack, etc., right? They are keeping data in plain text, they are not keeping unencrypted data, etc., etc. So all those issues, like, they are, it is not in our hand. We have shared our data with the bank, and we rely on the bank. How this bank is actually managing or accessing our data, that is out of our reach, right? So there it has been seen that even the logs are important. People try to get these logs, and then they will start getting, if the logs are in plain text, and with the logs they get lots and lots of information. right? So this example says that if you change your password, right, there is a log that is created that this user has successfully changed the password, right? And the password is a new password is this, older password is this. If that information presented in unencrypted form and somebody will access the logs, definitely our privacy is leaked, right? So, on in terms of this insecure data storage, there is recent this attack, very huge attack on Wayback Machines, which says, so this is the message that they put on the screen of each user. It says, have you ever felt like Internet Archive runs on sticks and is constantly on the verge of suffering a catastrophic security breach? It just happened. 31 million of you on HIV. So what they are saying that you are under attack. So they even putting this message, right, for every user to know. And at the same time, what happened? DDoS attack will happen on the data storage of Wayback, and all the data was gone, right? So this is what actually happens, right? We believe the company, but if they will not take care of securing our data, then the data is breached, right? Third thread that I would like to mention is data misuse by third parties. Now, this is another thing. Like, if you see the apps, it will say that we are sharing your data because of the analytical reasons. We will share it with the third party for advertising, etc., etc. What happen is how the data leaves the user control. Apps share personal data with external companies without clear user consent. Okay, they will say I'm sharing it with third party. What is the data you are sharing, for what purpose you are sharing, with whom you are sharing, what is the I mean things that the third party will follow, or how they will preserve our data, how they will securely store or transmit or process our data, that is not clear, right? So hidden advertising and analytics SDK collect information in the background, and these third parties share data and they combine their data to create the user profiling, right? Now these tracking companies link their data from multiple apps to follow user activity across multiple platforms, right, as we discussed. And then this thing spread further, right? User information is sold. Now there are brokers who will get you data. Even if you open a company and if you want that, okay, I have to give advertisement of my company, there are brokers. They will give you a large set of phone numbers, email addresses, and everything is proper. Like, it is not a synthetically generated data, no, the real data, right? So there are the data brokers now, right? And the question is why users don't know. Definitely because privacy policies are vague, right? We will just say, okay, I agree to terms and condition. It is too much that we are not able to read it, right? And they are vaguely defined. And even most of the applications, even not clearly disclose about the information, right? That how the data will be stored and how the data will be processed. Fine. So this is a thread. Another thread is re-identification risk. Okay. So what is a re-identification list? So risk, sorry. What is re-identification risk? So to suppose I want to make my storage, you know, like somewhat privacy preserved, right? So what I can do is I can do de-identification. I will say that, okay, this is the entire data set. The first one, this is the entire data set. What I will do, I will just year of birth, right? Year of birth is 1959 for the first person. I will make a range. It is from 1990 to 1999, somewhere between this, right? So this is how we have de-identified the data. right? Similarly, here also, like I have somehow not maintaining the same information, rather some generalized information I have maintained. What happen is there is something called linkage attack that we have previously also seen. Linkage attack, what it will do, it will link two different data sets and recreate the entire data set. So if you see this, this is the original data set. It has name and ID or something, some other information, but we have convert this into range or did something. But when all these things combine, this is a voter registration link. If you combine both the data set, you are able to re-identify each person uniquely, right? So this is another threat. So we will go a little deeper into re-identification risk, right? In a few minutes. Now, why it matters? Because user identities become exposed without their knowledge, right? I am saying that I am giving my information to voter for voter registration. That is a different thing. I am going to a hospital and I am going my giving my medical detail. That is entirely different thing. But if both of these data set combine with each other, even if they keep in a privacy preserve form, even if they combine with each other, entire records have been identified. Okay. And then definitely there are transparency issues, right? Um, we use free apps, but we do not have any idea that what is the data that they are collecting, right? There is a consent problem also. There are many websites that shows cookie banners just to lure you to click on accept without even knowing that there is the option of canceling it also, right? So you have been observed that the cross option will be visible after 10 seconds, and that too of the same background color, that too in the some corner of the image. But when you see accept button, it is just flashing in front of you again and again, right? So there are many ways in which the social engineering attacks, these are called, in which people can be lured to accept the accept button without even knowing that what actually they are accepting, right? So now Indian government are into making new rules about digital personal data protection. IDPDP laws are there, right? Where you have to precisely mention what is the data you are collecting, what is the purpose of data collection, explicit user consent you have to take, right? And it really matters because without transparency and the consents, user will lose control over their personal data, right? And in privacy says it's if it is your data, you should have proper control over that data, right? Okay. So now there are many cases, real life cases, where because of this lack of transparency and consent, millions of data has been leaked. And one very famous scandal is Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal. I hope all are aware of this, right? Another is Clearview AI. Now, what Clearview AI did is they actually train their model to identify facial or the photos of people, but the data set on which they have trained their model is actually the public data set, right? Not public data set, but the images that are publicly available. So the images they are publicly available is trained, used for the training purpose to get the Clearview AI face recognition model, right? And there it raised legal and ethical concern that you have used somebody's photo to train your model without even taking the consent of that person, even if it is publicly available, right? So I upload my photo for some reason on some public website, suppose for some reason. I have no idea whether some company will use it to train the model or something like that, right? So these are the issues that are going on. And then there are cross app tracking via common identifier. So as we have discussed that we have multiple apps reuse the same user ID or device ID enable tracking, right? Even if there are multiple apps which are developed by same company, generally Android system will give same user ID to all the apps, right? So that permission will be shared among themselves. So the problem arises because such things is called cross app tracking problem, right? Or the leakage. Okay, so let's see what we are doing at MANIT Bhopal. So just to make sure that this whatever news we are reading is actually happening, we have examined 30 Android applications across 10 categories. What do I mean by category? Category is like entertainment is one category, education is one category, games is one category, dating apps is one category. So we have taken 10 different categories and 30 apps we have started experimented with. And the aim of our experiment is just to understand what personal information this app sends during normal use, right? And what we have observed is how different apps share same user identifier while enable cross app tracking, right? That also we have considered. Okay, so let's see the results. So this is a small experimental setup. We have routed a device. We have connected with a laptop, and there is a MITM proxy which is installed in the system. This MITM proxy will actually record all the network traffic that is going out of with the device. Now on this device, what we did is we install the app and start using the app. As soon as we are inserting the data, feeding the data into the app and using the app, all the logs are getting recorded, right? And what we found that without user consent, all these informations, credit card information, location information, email, device info, OTPs, location, phone number, sensor data, everything is shared with third parties, with different SDKs, with the ad networks, and with the analytical companies, right? So this is the entire a big table that shows each app name, like Wink music app, Pixart app, Domino's app, what are the personal information they are sharing, you know. Even we have analyzed with and without consent also, right? So this is a detailed paper that we have submitted. It is under review. So we have taken very quite common apps, right, from different categories, and this is what we have analyzed. So if I, in short tell you that the music apps are sending phone number, email, OTPs, and other locals, right? If you think like mobile music app does not have access of all these things, right? What they are doing with the phone numbers of the user. Food delivery apps, including Zomato and Domino's, they send similar personal identify information and the location data with the SDKs, right? The third party SDKs. The fitness and education apps send email, local, gender, right? But they are sending it in lower volume. There are many shopping apps and astrology apps that are sending similar data, right? So if I conclude, these all are our finding that many apps are continuously keep on sending lots and lots of personal information. Some apps leak data before even login, right? And this we have observed that we are not logged in into the system. Still, our data has been transmitting, right? SDK inside app automatically collect all the Android ID and IMEI and package numbers. Apps like photo editor and games send large amount of metadata. Shopping apps, food delivery app, music app leak most of the sensitive data, right? And similarly, other fitness apps and all those apps are leaking the data. And this is a sample screenshot that we have taken. So this is a AstroTalk app, right? And if you see, we have when we analyze this app, the mobile number is going in a plain text format, right? So we have just, this is my student's mobile number. So we have just blurred it out. So all these identifier going in. If you see second slide, this app is, sharing data with the Facebook SDK. right? And the data is quite important data, mobile number, email address, even OTP they are sending in that format. Okay. And these are many app use shared SDK that act as a central data collector, right? So the common SDKs are Facebook, Firebase, ClearTap, Apps Flyer, all this, right? These are the common SDK, and almost every app are having these SDK inside it. These SDKs are collecting the data, and we even don't know how many of these SDKs belongs to same company, right? So they can easily combine that data, right? So this is the third party SDK, right? And 18 Android apps from different categories, they are collecting the data, right? So this is one part. Another part, the cross app data leakage. This is another experiment that we did. So any question till now? Because this is the last threat that I will discuss, and then I'll mention the future research directions. Okay, I hope there are no questions. Okay, fine. So let's see this another attack, which is called collusion attack. So what is this attack? Collusion refer to a scenario where two or more application, possibly not necessarily developed by the same developer, they interact with each other and they perform some malicious task. Right. So as we discussed, like we have given some permission to contact manager app, some permission we have given to a news app, right? So for example, news app want internet permission. Without that, it will not work. Contact manager app want read and write contact, right? Without that, it will not work. So what we did, we have taken this one app, device ID. It is still there on Google Play Store. Yeah, just a second. Yeah. So it is still there on Google Play Store. And when we analyze this app, these are the permissions the app is taking, right? Internet, Bluetooth, read phone state, access Wi-Fi ID, and all the permissions are necessary permission required by the app to work properly. Then we took this app and we run it on these existing research platforms which are there to analyze this thing, right? Virus total, visual threats, Android, permission checker. These are the apps. Permission checker, permission friendly. These are the apps. And ICCTA, Droid Safe, Flow Droid, Hell are few research tools, right? So we have analyzed these apps, and this is what the output is. So virus total says one of 56 virus total. There are total 56 or 57 antiviruses installed. It is a web service. So when we upload any APK, they will analyze it on all the existing antiviruses, and then they will show how many of them will say it is a virus. Similarly, visual thread on the scale of 0 to 100, score is 30, 28, and so on. Fine. Now, what we actually did is we have divided, extract this, reverse engineer it, extract the manifest file, and separate the DEX file. Right. So these are technical terms that are specific to Android applications. Then we have modified the permission in the manifest file. There are total 6 permissions. We have removed 5 out of them and added 1 permission. So now there are only 2 permissions in the app. One is read phone state that was previously there, and we have also inserted write external storage permission. And again, we have analyzed the newly developed APK on same tools. Now you can see this is with the original permission, and this is the newly developed app with reduced permission. And you can see there is a huge decrease, downfall in the results. Right now, the app is much more towards a benign side, right? But definitely there is a headroid which says the app is malicious because there is a malicious content in the app. What is the malicious component? We have inserted a leakage code in the app, right? So the read phone state will access IMEI number of the phone and it will write it to the external storage, and that is detected by a tool Heldroid. Then what we did, we have broke down this app into two apps. One is a device ID app and one is a collector app. One permission we give to read phone state and another permission we give to collector app, right? Same thing is now done by two different apps. Device ID app will access the device ID. It will transfer that to collector app, and collector app is responsible to write that information into the external storage. And when we analyze these two apps, everybody, including HealthRight, says that these apps are benign apps. There is no leakage. But when you combinely install these two apps on your device, when on the device these both of these apps will present at the same time, definitely it will leak your data. Okay, so that is the problem, how to preserve this privacy, right? So quickly I will tell you few existing technique, and then we will see what are the flaws of that technique, and then we will see what are the open research areas that we can work on, right? So first thing is remove all the identifiers with the random value. So suppose this is the same Swara data set, right? If I remove name and ID, then if this data set is leaked, nobody will know that this record belongs to whom, right? So this is one method to preserve the privacy. This is called de-identification. But the problem of de-identification is linkage attack. As I told you, if the medical record is combined with the voter database, these three fields are common, right? And using these three fields, anybody can recreate the entire data set, right? And this is a study done by Latanya Swinney at Harvard University. And she shows in her experiment that just by combining these three identifiers, 87% of the Americans are uniquely identified, right? So this is a huge failure of de-identification method, what she have shown. So it does not work. Even there is an attack in 2006. So in 2006, Netflix announced about a competition. Competition is to develop an algorithm to predict how someone will rate the movie, right? This type of system you have to develop, and for that they have shared some data set. So they have randomized this username, right? And movie name are correct and their ratings are correct, right? So this is the data set they have shared for the competition. And the users, the records are 480,000 users records are there, and 100 million ratings something are there, and 17K movies are there in the data set. Now, what happened? There is these two authors. Let me see whether the name of these authors are there or not. They are from University of Texas. This is the name of the paper, Robust De-anonymization of Large Sparse Data Set. They have, what they did is they take this Netflix data set, and they IMDb data set is online, publicly available. They combine these two data set, and they show that that the privacy is not maintained, right? They recreated the anonymized Netflix data set, and because of that, Netflix has to stop their competition in between. And because users privacy was leaked, right? Users which user rate which movie, what is actually leaked, which is privacy violation, and for that they have to pay a huge fine also, right? So the identification does not work. Second solution is shuffling. For example, this is disease is something that nobody should able to map. Right? This is a sensitive field. So what to do originally? This is the original version of the disease. Just shuffle it, right? Because anyways we are doing experiment. So shuffling will maintain that, if there are two cancer patients, it will still remain two HIV patient, two heart disease patient. It remains the same, but in a shuffled way. But again, even if you shuffle the data and the distribution still remain the same, right? And if there are uneven distribution, there are high chances that there is a possibility of leakage, right? Solution 3, people propose that don't use real data because there is a problem of privacy violation. Just use synthetic data, create some synthetic data. But with synthetic data, the problem is this privacy versus utility. If some experiment needs to be performed on real data, then only they will give proper results, right? If you perform the experiment on synthetic data, they will not give proper results. And this is specifically true when you are working with some medical domain, right? Medical, if you are working on some medicines, then definitely you need real data. Otherwise, synthetic data is useless in those cases, right? So if you increase privacy, utility of that data set will decrease. If you increase utility, you need to give more and more real data without anonymization, without maintaining the privacy, right? So there is a tug of war. We want to achieve this, the best of both, right? But that is like complementary with each other, right? Um, so yeah, so this is sensitive and classified. So I think no need. Now there is a notion of K anonymization that is again introduced by Sweeney, Latanya, and Samriddhi. They say that okay, so let's not make the data entirely, anonymized. What we will do, we will make it K anonymized, right? So where, let's say if the value of K is 3, we will say 3 records in this data set are exactly same. We have to perform some kind of generalization and some kind of suppression so that 3 records in the data set are exactly same. So nobody will identify, even if you come to this record, this matches, but out of these 3 records, which one belongs to whom, you never know, right? So exact answer you can't know. So there is some guarantee of achieving privacy, right? So this is a notion of K anonymity. And you achieve this K anonymization using generalization and suppression. So here generalization is used. Sorry. Here generalization is used, and in the first and second field, suppression is used. Yes. Okay, so I'm not going into technical details of K anonymity, but still there are multiple attacks that could occur on K anonymization, and linkage attack still works in K anonymization. Apart from linkage attack, there are 2 more important attacks that we need to know. One is homogeneity attack, and the other one is background knowledge attack. What is homogeneity attack? So suppose this is the data set, right? Now, disease is some sensitive information that I don't want to reveal, right? But what if I got to know this is K anonymized, right? So there are 3 records, but all the 3 records are having same disease. So I don't care which particular record belongs to that person, but I know that the person is suffering from heart disease. This is called homogeneity attack, right? However, there is another called background attack, where you know the family history of that person, and with the family history also you know a lot of things. You can re-identify the data set. So these are the attacks, or possible attacks that could occur on K anonymization. right? So key anonymization does not give any scientific guarantee, but it just is a probability that out of this k, one is the field, but which one exactly is the field, that is anonymized, right? That much privacy you achieve. Fine. So we want something stronger than that, right? So then comes differential privacy. Differential privacy says, okay, I will give some kind of guarantee. Differential privacy say, I will not store the record as it is, right? I will not store true record. Rather, I will add some noise into the data set, right? So suppose if somebody will ask how many people are there, so I will add some noise. Whatever is the real answer, I will add some noise and return. Right. So if there are four records, then also it will say six. If there are, let's say, five records, then also it will say six. So some kind of noise is added while querying the data set, right? This is what differential privacy will achieve. But differential privacy, there are still many attacks that had happened on differential privacy, where compositional and cumulative leakage could occur, right? People started developing queries which will actually lead to give you some information, right? So suppose I will say there is one person who is having disease, let's say heart disease. I will ask for some other query in two, three, four queries in such a way that I will get to know the answer by combining all those queries. Then there is something called reconstruction attack attempt to rebuild the entire data set from aggregate output or gradients, right? So this is called reconstruction attack. By queries, I am trying to rebuild the data set, right? Some companies use encryption, but as I told you, encryption actually will not work in case of privacy, because privacy is something different from security. Encryption provides security, right? But why it will not work in privacy? So these are the few problems. It is having single point of failure. Until unless key is not leaked, no issues. But if key is leaked, privacy, security, everything is broken down, right? So there is a single point of failure. Because of this single point of failure, what happened, I have, as we discussed, that we have taken the data from sender to receiver, but what about that, after that, how to follow those things, that is not covered by encryption, right? So this is the maple media thing I'm talking about. There are lots of apps that are developed by maple media. Now through different apps, it is collecting different type of data, and it can combine the data and generate a uh, entire user profiling, right? So what we are doing in this direction, so this is an open research problem, right? We need privacy preserving technique, we need some techniques through which we can somehow preserve the privacy. So we have you all have now come up across this masked Aadhaar card, right? Now the problem is, when you if you are having an Aadhaar card, when you go to airport, they ask for your photo proof, right? Identity proof, photo proof. Now on the Aadhaar card, it's not only the photo that you are having. You are having your address, phone number, date of birth, and other details. But then people identified that this is a privacy violation. I just want him to know that I am the same person as mentioned on the Aadhaar card photo, right? Why all this information is leaked? So then there comes the notion of masking, right? That is what we are trying to apply on in the same way when the data is going out of our device, right? So Google is also following similar kind of scenario, so I'm not going into deep. So this is what we are trying to do. We are saying that whenever we have developed a privacy preserving framework, we are saying whenever user data went out of the device, right, there is something called key that is attached with it. Now if you want to open this log. So there is a picture of, I think it is not there. Okay, fine. So there is something called Shamir secret key. If you are aware of, there are different shares, right? So suppose there, if there is a safe, and that safe has three key inserting facilities in the safe. Now the thing says, if there are five different users, what we want at least three should be always present, and among those three, one should be the master person, right? Similarly, user consent, we will say, is a master key. If we will share the data with the company data set, then also our master key is required. If the company shared this data with some third party, then also our master key is required. And if somebody will uh, data go further, right, it will remain every time, it will remain in an encrypted form until unless user consent is not taken into consideration. So the idea is, at least we are aware that where our data is going, we have somehow more control over our data. So that is the idea that we are working on. So I think we are done with this. So yes, the time is also running out. So that's it from my side. If anybody of you are having any questions, yeah.
Thank you very much, ma'am,
Yeah, thank you.
for such a nice session. So, is there any question from the any member? They can put on chat also.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for delivering such an engaging, insightful, and thought provoking session. Your valuable experience and practical knowledge have certainly enriched our understanding, as it is rightly said, विद्या वही है जो हमारे व्यवहार और निर्णयों में सुधार लाए. Knowledge is meaningful only when it improves our action and decisions. If anyone has any query or doubt, they may kindly ask them now.
So, uh, I don't think there is any question, ma'am. In
All
fact,
right.
lots of answers people have got already by us attending your session. Still, if there is any
So
question, anybody can ask here. If he not has been typed in the chat box, you can ask directly. Is there anyone? Any question? So I think no question. So let us wind up
No,
this
I
session.
don't. Pardon me, I'm Amrita, and I am from West Bengal. We are going through a process called SIR for now, which is quite a little thing. I just want to ask, ma'am, not really a question, but if some highlight can be used on that, that we are practically associating every little thing with our mobile phones. So is it not that all our information is getting stored with, let's say, the government of India, and somehow it's a hypothetical situation. Let's say somehow that gets hacked. Is there a possibility of a potential risk, and would you say that there would be a possibility of curbing that risk to any extent? It's just a discussion, not really a question, but if you could say something about it.
yes, nicely said. Everything is linked with mobile phone, right? We can live without something else, but we cannot live without our mobile phone, right? For each and every task, we need our mobile phone. We'll search for our mobile phone to do. So definitely, with that much of usage, it will definitely going to store data. And when somebody is storing data, definitely it is on risk. That is true, right? What best? See, but at the same time, we need that facility also. The problem is privacy versus utility. If you don't want the utility, stop using mobile phones. Stop, giving your information in the digital world. But that is not the case. You can, witnessing the things are changing now. So what we can do is we are try to just put more and more control on our information. That is the best thing that we can do. And if you have seen during the last slide, I'm little fast because of the time constraint. But basically, what we are trying to do is we are trying to put that control on the information that we are sending. So that's what we are doing. That we say that let's keep the data in the encrypted form, and it's like a safe, and the safe is open only when I will give the permission to open it. It doesn't matter whether who is asking for the permission. First, let me know, then I will decide. And if you are aware of, if you have used your mobile phone previously, and when you install any app, specifically in Android, I'm talking about, you have to accept all the permission that the app is wanting. But because of the policy change, now it is not forced. The app cannot force you to allow all the permissions all the time, right? Now it's in our control, little bit more in our control. If you want to give permission for that duration only, you can do so. If you don't want to give the permission, don't give it. If you want to give the permission, because privacy is something subjective, it varies from person to person. So that is happening, but it is a challenging thing. And so hence it is an open research area also. I hope I have answered something relevant, I think.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Any other question is there? If anybody is having any question, you can ask directly now.
No, sir.
Okay, so let us officially wind up this session. We are thankful
Okay.
to Dr. Shweta ma'am for giving us
Thank you, sir.
time, and due to some your personal busyness and other reason also, still you have managed everything and you have given your precious time. So we are thankful to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting, sir. And it's lovely to have a talk here in the session, and the audience are really grateful. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, ma'am, for a nice feedback. So let us wind up this session and we will meet again after 5 minutes. You can stay here. Let me connect with the expert. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
We are waiting to join Dr. Duggal, sir. Yeah, he is there. Sir, you're most welcome, sir.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to connect with all of you. Thank
Sir,
you.
thank you very much. And I welcome you on behalf of this RGPV University and this ATAL FDP, ATAL Online FDP. And I know, sir, your time is very important. So give me 1 minute for your introduction by my student coordinator. So please start the session. The coordinator one, please start.
Good afternoon to all the respected dignitaries, esteemed expert, faculty members, and dear participants. I, Pranjal Dwivedi, warmly welcome you all to the 12th session of the AICTE sponsored 1 week Atal Faculty Development Program, organized by Department of Computer Science and Engineering, UIT RGPV Bhopal. This session topic is global policy responses and lesson for India. It helps us understand what India can adopt or learn to strengthen its own digital safety and policy framework. We are honored to have with us our respected academic leaders and our esteemed expert for the evening. I had like to begin with welcoming our respected FDP coordinator, Dr. Piyush Kumar Shukla sir, Associate Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, UIT RGPV Bhopal, and respected FDP coordinator, Dr. Rajiv Pandey sir, Associate Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, UIT RGPV Bhopal. Now comes the highlight of this session. An expert is not defined by knowledge alone, but by the wisdom to apply it meaningfully. With immense pleasure, I take the honor of introducing our esteemed expert for today, Dr. Pavan Duggal. Dr. Pavan Duggal is leading global expert in cyber law and advocate at Supreme Court of India. He serves as the director and the chairman of the International Commission on Cybersecurity Law, leads Pavan Duggal Associates. He also the president of cyberlaws.net and Cyberlaw Asia, contributing to areas like mobile law and the darknet law. With over 35 years of experience, he has played a major role in shaping national and international cyber policies. His work continues to influence global discussion on cybersecurity and digital governance. We are truly honored to have him with us today. Before we begin, I kindly request all the participants to note the following points. Please do not interrupt the expert or dignitaries while they are speaking. In case of any technical issue, kindly inform us through the chat box. If our response is delayed, please wait patiently. Your cooperation ensures a smooth and meaningful session. Now, may I request our respected FDP coordinator, Dr. Piyush Kumar Shukla sir, to address the gathering and share his insights.
So without wasting any time, I request Dr. Duggal sir to start the session.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. It's a pleasure to talk to all of you this afternoon. Today, you do not need to be a Rashmika Mandana, an Alia Bhatt, or a Katrina Kaif, whose deepfake can be made of. Gone are the days that you only have to be a celebrity to be made a deepfake of. Today, deepfakes can be made of anyone. Why? Because deepfakes are intrinsically capable of being generated at just a few clicks using free tools available online. The problem is that this technology has developed so rapidly that today the naked eye often cannot make a distinction between what is a deepfake versus what's real. The propensity of the human mind to believe the deepfake to be real is complicating the entire scenario. We have an extensive problem because in India, we have begun to start relying upon artificial intelligence as our life coach, as something which we can rely upon without thinking, without realizing that AI is hallucinating left, right, and center. Well, guardrails have been put in place. Some artificial intelligence programs are hallucinating less than others. But to expect that hallucination has finished for all times to come is still a distant dream. In this kind of an ecosystem, therefore, the important issue that comes up for consideration is what should be the Indian approach on deepfakes? Can we learn anything from the Western world or other parts of the world? And what should India be now doing to deal with the menace of deepfake? To begin with, let's understand the basic foundational issue, which is that India does not have any dedicated law on artificial intelligence. India also does not have any dedicated law on deepfakes. The only legislation that we currently have is the Information Technology Act 2000, which is a 25-year-old legislation. The legislation does not deal with artificial intelligence. You could not blame the lawmakers. Why? Because 2000, nobody was talking about artificial intelligence. But then there's now a growing propensity in the minds of the policymakers that let's only try to apply applicable laws to artificial intelligence. We are now beginning to see a new trend where the Indian government is increasingly taking the stand that India requires more innovation than regulation. So therefore, we want more innovation in the context of artificial intelligence, and therefore regulation ought to wait for a later time. In a recent address given by the chairperson of the Competition Commission of India at the International Conference on Cyber Law, Cybercrime and Cybersecurity, Mr. Arun talked about the fact that the competition regulator wants to promote more innovation, more enablement, and therefore is not coming up with any restrictive mechanisms. But as and when the industry matures, it will be then coming up with appropriate mechanisms to make sure that the abuse of the dominant power of players using artificial intelligence can be appropriately well regulated. If this is the current position, the question that comes up for consideration is, what is the government planning to do now? We already have in place for public comments the information technology, intermediary guidelines, and digital media ethics code amendment rules 2025. These are proposed amendments to the information technology, intermediary guidelines, and digital media ethics code rules 2021. Effectively, they are saying that now AI content will have to be labeled. The labeling will have to be done by the service provider. The labeling must be done in such a manner so that 10% of the total screen is devoted to labeling. Why? So that adequate attention is given to all potential people who would be going ahead and looking at the content. And idea is to give them advance notice and warning that they should not be misled into believing that what they were seeing is human generated. On the contrary, they are being informed right in there and then that it's being actually generated by artificial intelligence. In a scenario like this, if the intermediaries do not comply with these said regulations, then they land up losing their statutory exemption from legal liability, which means that they can now be made liable for unlimited damages by way of compensation under the Information Technology Act 2000. In addition, they can also be exposed to criminal liability of imprisonment and fine, both under the Information Technology Act 2000 as also under the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita and other applicable laws. Now, these rules have only been opened up for public comments. Comments were open till 6th of November 2025. And now the government is examining those comments and subsequently will come up with some kind of a mechanism process for labeling of AI content. So a logical corollary of this will be that if AI content is going to be labeled, this will include deepfake content. That means anybody viewing a deepfake content will have advance notice to the effect that this is indeed AI generated content and that people need to be careful before they can rely upon the same. Is this sufficient? Or do we need to do more? I'm of the firm opinion that the IT intermediary guidelines, digital media ethics code amendment rules 2025 as drafted and put up for public comments are not going to be sufficient in the Indian context. India is a land of the danda. People fear the law because of the danda of the law. If there is no danda of the law, then people invariably are not interested in complying with the law. So, lo and behold, till such time you don't have dedicated legal provisions in the country on deepfake, you will not be able to effectively deal with the menace of deepfake. The problem is these are draft rules that are being proposed under the Information Technology Act 2000. But the mother legislation, the primary legislation, being the Information Technology Act 2000, does not deal with deepfakes. It does not deal with the artificial intelligence or artificial intelligence generated data. Hence, even if you come up with those rules, there's always a chance that these rules are going to be potentially challenged in terms of their constitutional validity, in terms of going beyond the ambit and scope of the primary legislation. And hence, we may not be able to still be able to get the right kind of effect that we would want. In this kind of a scenario, what should India be doing? I am of the firm opinion India requires a dedicated law both on artificial intelligence. In addition, India requires a dedicated law on deepfakes. Deepfake has now come to power a large number of cybercrime paradigms. Today, digital arrest is taking place in an extensive manner in India. There's one survey which tells us that Indians have lost more than 2,000 crores only to digital arrest matters in only 4 months this year. And big chunk of digital arrest today is increasingly getting powered by deepfakes, where the deepfake technology is being used for purposes of putting the concerned victim into fear, panic, and thereby prompting the victim to deliver monies using digital arrest methodologies. So, with extensive use of deepfakes for defrauding, for electronic forgery, for cheating others into believing the electronic records to be correct, or for the purposes of harming the reputation of concerned persons, it therefore becomes very important that India must come up with dedicated new legal frameworks to deal with deepfakes. This is all the more important because the existing laws of the country do not, or shall I say, are not sufficient to deal with the menace of deepfakes. Let's look at the existing laws under the country, being the Information Technology Act 2000. So once a deepfake matter comes up, let me give a hypothetical example. Somebody creates my deepfake and shows me talking about extremely defamatory and derogatory manner about Mr. X. People who know me may see that particular deepfake video and will say, well, that's Mr. Duggal going ahead and talking defamatory to somebody or about somebody. So his conduct is in violation of the law. And that being so, potential not just defamation of Mr. Duggal can take place, but more significantly, others can also complain against Mr. Duggal. This is without Mr. Duggal ever coming to know about the fact that his deepfake has existed or somebody has created those deepfakes. But assuming such a complaint was to go to the police, what kind of provisions can we invoke? The IT Act does not have direct provisions. At best, you can put it under Section 66D of the Information Technology Act 2000 because it deals with cheating by personation by using a computer resource. But that's a minor offense, 3 years imprisonment, some fine. And that's a bailable offense. So there's no deterrence. The provisions of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita tell me that maybe we can also incorporate provisions of electronic forgery in such a manner. 318, where we are doing forgery either for the purposes of cheating or for the purposes of harming the reputation of another person. But then the important issue is that sufficient? Can you effectively deal with the menace of deepfakes by just applying provisions of law which were never really drafted keeping in mind deepfakes? I think our approach will not be very successful, and the chances of us getting effective convictions in matters of deepfake will further be problematic. Already the conviction ratio of India in cybercrime matters is less than 1%. In this ecosystem, then what do we need to be doing? I think we need to be doing a number of things. We need to look at the fact as to how other countries are working, what are they doing, and thereafter try and come up with their own customized approach as far as India is concerned. India has to quickly realize that its cut, copy, paste approach will not work. Why? Because India is no longer just the India of 1970s or 80s. This India is the year of 2025. This India has become the most populous nation in the world. This India is the biggest democracy in the world. This India is the natural leader of the global south. And this India is cognizant of the fact that what it does today is likely to become a benchmarking standard for the world tomorrow. So in a scenario like this, India will have to come up with its own customized approaches to deal with the entire phenomenon of deepfakes. Where do we stand now? Can I learn something from the European Union? Yes. European Union has been the first country coming up with an extensive legislation on deepfake, on artificial intelligence in the form of the EU AI Act. And some provisions of the EU AI Act could be applicable in the context of deepfakes. For example, the transparency obligations of the European Union AI Act says that all AI generated or manipulated content must be clearly labeled and made machine detectable through embedded digital watermarks. And organizations must disclose when users interact with deepfakes, with exception only for artistic, creative or journalistic purposes. In the European Union, the focus is more on risk-based classification of AI. And therefore, it can be said that deepfakes, which are used in the context of affecting individual rights or democratic processes, can come under the classification of high-risk AI, triggering stringent regulatory requirements, including risk management systems, data governance protocols, technical documentation, and human oversight mechanisms. The important thing that is relevant to note in the context of the EU AI Act is the severe penalties if you don't comply with this law. So if you don't comply with the EU AI Act, you can be fined up to 35 million euros or 7% of the worldwide annual turnover for prohibited practices. You can also be fined up to 15 million euro or 3% for high-risk violations. And you can further be fined 7.5 million euros or 1.5% for transparency violations. Now, this law itself is being passed, but is not yet in place and will come into effect in August 2026. So, European Union is focusing more on proactive regulation rather than reactive enforcement. And I think India should also adopt similar mandatory labeling requirements, establish clear risk categorization frameworks, and implement proportionate penalty structures that balance deterrence with innovation. That's the European Union. I take you to United Kingdom. In the UK, they have something known as an Online Safety Act of 2023, which has made sharing or threatening to share intimate deepfake images without consent a criminal offense. This law has subsequently been strengthened through the Criminal Justice Bill amendments. But here the problem in the UK is that it's only dealing with creating sexually explicit deepfakes without consent as a punishable offense, punishable with 2 years imprisonment, even if you do not distribute the same. So making or creating of sexually explicit deepfakes has been made a crime. This is important because earlier, the entire issue of creation of deepfakes had not yet been addressed. Now they have appropriately addressed. Further, the said law in the UK has provided for more platform accountability. And the Act mandates platforms to mitigate risks posed by synthetic media and remove harmful deepfake content with criminal enforcement mechanisms. So, India will also have to come up with an approach that can actually focus on criminalizing the creation of sexually explicit deepfakes. That's one. Can I criminalize the creation of deepfakes? Now, when you create a deepfake, you are effectively doing electronic forgery for purposes of cheating or for the purposes of harming the reputation of another person. That being so, that can already be brought within the ambit of the offense of electronic forgery under the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. But the rights, duties, and responsibilities of the stakeholders, specifically the intermediaries, must be very well defined. Let's realize that all platforms where deepfakes you can make are intermediaries under the Information Technology Act 2000. This is so because they are network service providers. They are entities who, on behalf of another persons, are receiving, storing, or transmitting data, or providing services with respect to the said data. That being so, intermediaries in India are mandated to exercise due diligence while they discharge their obligations under the law under Section 79(2)(c) of the Information Technology Act 2000. Now, for that, the Government of India has been given the power under Section 87 of the IT Act to come up with rules and regulations stipulating various parameters of due diligence that must be fulfilled by the intermediaries. Till today, the Government of India has not yet stipulated any parameters of due diligence that must be followed by the service providers or intermediaries in the context of creation, publication, or dissemination of deepfakes. I think we need to make the intermediaries more accountable. Why? Merely requesting them to ensure that deepfake doesn't take place on their platforms won't help. It will be very important that we not only go ahead and tell them that, look, your statutory exemption from legal liability is going to be taken away, but more significantly, we actually straddle them with criminal liability. It's your responsibility to make sure that on your platform, deepfakes don't get generated or don't get transmitted or published or disseminated. And if they're still getting disseminated, it's your responsibility. You should be seen as a capacity of co-accused. That's another lesson that India needs to learn, both from the European Union as also from UK. From the European Union and UK, I take you to China. China has introduced its deep synthetic provisions, which came effective January 2023, which mandate comprehensive labeling of synthetic content. Under the Chinese law, all deepfake content must be explicitly labeled and traceable to its source. Real name authentication systems are therefore necessary to prevent anonymous misuse. Now, the Chinese law further says that you'll have to take consent of the concerned person before using deep synthesis technology to edit someone else's image or voice. Deep synthesis service providers have been saddled with various obligations in China. They must establish guidelines for identifying false or harmful information, implement review mechanisms, maintain feature databases for detecting illegal content, and conduct periodic algorithms security assessments. So they've sought to look in the direction of making it far more transparent. I think India needs to also look in that direction. India needs to have emphasis on mandatory consent. It needs to focus on content provenance and algorithmic transparency. Already, India has, come November 2025, implemented the Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023. This law is important because it goes ahead and protects the personal data of data principals, people like you and me. Data fiduciaries are now required to first give me notice that they want to collect my data. Once they get my consent, they are entitled to go ahead and use the said data. But the remarkable aspect of this DPDP Act is that it's provided for unprecedented fines. 250 crore rupees per non-contravention is the fine that's stipulated. You do not comply with the law and you would now be required to pay 250 crore rupees to the government of India in the form of payment to the Consolidated Fund of India. The important question that India needs to consider is, can the DPDP Act be made applicable in the context of deepfakes? You see, when you create my deepfake, you are using my personal information, my persona, my face, my features, my voice, my appearance. And that being so, you're doing it without my consent. So when somebody makes my deepfake, it can be argued that the said person, by making my deepfake, is also contravening the provisions of the Digital Personal Data Protection Act, in as much as he's not taken my consent before using my features, my personal data, and that being so, that entity can also be straddled with legal liability of statutory fines up to 250 crore rupees. That's a good interpretation that India can take in this regard. But whether the said interpretation will be amenable, more so because deepfake is not made by a human. Deepfake is made by an algorithm. And can you cover the algorithm under the DPDP Act? The problem is the provisions of the Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023 are already obsolete before they have come into operation. Why? Because the said law does not deal holistically with all aspects pertaining to use of AI in the data protection ecosystem. So consequently, you find that AI is more often than not becoming a data fiduciary. It's artificial intelligence that's beginning to determine how my personal data as a data principal is going to be collected, processed, or dealt with. But since the DPDP Act does not deal with AI, its coverage is incomplete. And therefore, there are going to be questions of whether can we fully apply the provisions of the DPDP Act in the context of making or creation of a deepfake by someone else. But all said and done, these are important questions that are coming up for consideration that you must keep in mind. Let's also keep in mind what recently, from September 2025, China has done. China has come up with further new labeling requirements for AI-generated content. This law has come into effect from the beginning of September 2025. So which effectively says that if you are going to generate any AI content, using AI, you will have to label the same as AI generated content. And if you don't label the same and somebody else suffers injury, then you can be saddled with legal consequences. I think something like that would be nice if it can be made in the Indian context. Why? Because Indians are right now at a very unique juncture of the revolution. Indians are right now are appearing to be guinea pigs in the artificial intelligence laboratory. AI is extensively being used for purposes of collecting information from Indians. And the privacy of Indians, personal privacy and data privacy, is getting evaporated left, right, and center. So, in this ecosystem, we will not only have to come up with new legal frameworks, but more significantly, we'll have to make them more effective, more efficient, straddle with effective, efficient, deterrent legal consequences, and then effectively enforce the existing law so that the entire menace of deepfakes can be potentially regulated. I want to pause here and open up the panel for discussion. Basis what I've said. If anyone has any questions, any thought processes, any perspectives, happy to listen to the same and answer to the same. Does anyone have any questions so far, please?
Thank you, sir. If anyone is having any question, you can write question in text box, as well as you can ask directly. That will be better for everyone.
I presume everybody in this FDP is using AI. If that's the case, I want to tell you that now almost all big international AI companies have given a bonanza offer to Indians. Look, a ChatGPT, normal ChatGPT plus subscription costs about almost 2,000 rupees per month. A ChatGPT Pro subscription costs roughly about 20,000 rupees a month. But now ChatGPT is saying, I'm giving you a ChatGPT Go, which means I'm giving you this subscription at 399 rupees a month. Similarly, Perplexity has said that, look, I'm offering my services, including the Pro version, to all users of Airtel free of cost for 1 year. Gemini has also said, I'm giving you very reduced price offerings for the Indian market. So effectively, they are offering their world-class AI services for free. What is 399 rupees? I cannot even get a full pizza to feed to people from 399 rupees. And there they are unlocking the power and potential of their AI for 399 rupees. So the idea is very clear. They are all out to collect as much data from the Indian market as possible. And you will have to be careful of the fact, because today there's a new revolution that's happening. I call it the Great Indian Data Vomiting Revolution. Indians are vomiting data about their personal, professional, social lives on the internet without thinking of the legal ramifications. And once you vomit data, you are effectively writing off all your rights to any personal privacy or data privacy that you may ever have. In addition, we have a new quieter revolution. I call it the Great Indian Recording Revolution. Indians are recording all kinds of information online. And then we are now begun to start sharing information with AI, like artificial intelligence is a life coach. And that effectively means that once I share personal information with AI, I am never will be in a position to go ahead and force AI to forget whatever I've told AI. So I think India needs to have a more holistic approaches to deal with artificial intelligence as we go forward. I thought I saw a question at the chat box. There's a question from Shalini Vishisht, who says, is there any law difference for deepfake and digital manipulation? Because both are different terms, so laws also, digital manipulation. Well, I think there's an intrinsic difference between deepfake and digital manipulation. Deepfake is creating a fake electronic record which resembles almost like the original. Digital manipulation can result in acts which may not be similar to the original records. So, for example, in a deepfake, you create my deepfake and you copy my facial features, my mustache, my facial recognition elements, and then present it in a video in such a manner to say that it's Pavan Duggal who's speaking. But in digital manipulation, that's a much bigger stuff. I can digitally manipulate an electronic record without any ostensible outside manifestation. For example, I can put a computer contaminant, a VII, ransomware within a system. That will also tantamount to digital manipulation. But that may not necessarily be tantamounting to deepfake. So I think while there will be some overlap between deepfake and digital manipulation, while deepfake can be seen to be a manifestation of digital manipulation, yet I think digital manipulation is far more bigger, broader, and wider concept in its scope, ambit, and applicability, and will incorporate within its elements other things beyond just making deepfakes. So I hope I'm able to clarify that particular question. Right, that's this particular question. Let's now go back to some other things we were talking. I want to take you now to Singapore. In Singapore, they've adopted a multifaceted approach combining criminal law, platform regulation, as well as digital literacy initiatives. They have come up with the law, it's called Protection from Online Falsehoods and Manipulation Act, which enables government to issue corrections or take down orders for deepfake misinformation affecting elections or national security. This is important. Similarly, there you also have an Online Criminal Harms Act, which empowers government to direct service providers to prevent scam-related deepfake content from reaching users. So they are more focused on protecting the authenticity and veracity of the election process. This is important, and I think India needs to take some lessons from this regard. Why? Because let's look at the Pakistan elections of 2024. And then let's look at the general elections in India of 2024. In both these elections, one of the most unique element was the use of deepfakes in the election process for the purposes of misleading the voters. You'd often find in these elections that in the last one day, last 24, 48 hours, some new video will come out, which will show a particular candidate in a wrong light, in a negative light, so that people's political allegiance could shift. And that could have an impact upon the way how polling gets done on the day of the polling. And they found out that deepfake has a very positive impact upon the minds of the voters, because voters in India are not yet in a position to determine whether a particular deepfake is indeed a deepfake or is it real content. The propensity to believe what one's saying is correct has led to a scenario where deepfake is now being used as an important vehicle for the purposes of influencing the results of elections. It's in this regard that the Singapore legal provisions assume significance. I believe India should have similar kind of legal provisions as well. Why? Because India is the biggest democracy in the world. More so, we don't want deepfakes to prejudicially impact the election process in the Indian context. One question comes up, which is, in the Indian context and the Indian elections, can the Election Commission of India do something? I think the Election Commission of India has been empowered with adequate statutory powers to go ahead and prevent anything which could tantamount to an interference in the free, fair holding of elections in the Indian context. So, under the powers which are intrinsically broad given to the Election Commission of India under the Representation of People's Act, I believe that the Election Commission can come up with new legal due diligence mechanisms, guidelines, rules, notifications, asking users, asking political parties and leaders not to either disseminate, publish, transmit deepfake, and also to straddle legal consequences upon candidates and political parties should they use deepfake for political campaigning or other purposes. I think deepfake is also intrinsically connected with the entire issue of fake news or fake information. Already, a number of countries have in place laws to regulate fake information, fake news. But India does not have any such laws. It will really do immense service to the Indian context in case if we are able to come up with new legal provisions in this regard. But now I want to take you to South Korea, which has potentially implemented the world's strictest deepfake regulations. They came up with a national emergency declaration in 2024, and now have got very stringent regulations. As per the regulations, there's a maximum 7-year prison sentence for creating sexually explicit deepfakes, regardless of distribution intent. So, possessing or viewing such content carries up to 3 years imprisonment and fines up to 30 million won. So, the moment I create, whether I intend to publish it or not, sexually explicit deepfake in South Korea, I can get a 7-year imprisonment. The moment I'm viewing or possessing such content, that also could get me 3 years imprisonment and fine up to 30 million won. The Public Official Election Act in South Korea bans deepfakes within 90 days of elections, with violations punishable by up to 7 years imprisonment and fines up to 50 million won. The laws clearly says that all AI generated election content must be clearly labeled. And this particular law has been extensively been implemented. Last year, they made over 474 arrests and they addressed over 921 deep fake sex crime reports. So once the government action decides that we are going to take effective deterrent action against deepfakes, it's going to have a negative impact upon the further proliferation of deepfake. But India must balance such enforcement with constitutional protections for free speech and expression. So a lot of things are going to be dependent on how India as a nation is going to deal with the entire menace of deepfakes. If you're only going to rely upon the Information Technology Act, then we'll have to realize that our fight against deepfakes may not be very adequate. Yes, you can go through the intermediary liability route under the IT Act. But for that also, you will have to come up with effective, detailed due diligence provisions for intermediaries in the context of creation, dissemination, or publication of deepfake content. Ideally, it would be great if India can come up with a dedicated law on artificial intelligence. If India can come up with the new legal frameworks on deepfakes. And if India can implement effectively those provisions of law in an efficient manner, that could be a great starting point. But everything is going to be dependent on political will. Does India want to make a deepfake law? And if so, what is the intention of the government in this regard? So all eyes will be on the government on how they would want to go ahead and deal with this entire phenomenon. But deepfakes are here to stay. As individuals, let's be wary of deepfakes. Let's be wary of the use of or misuse of AI as a technology. And ultimately, let's all try to understand and internalize the immense practical issues, challenges, complexities thrown up by deepfake in the Indian context. So all eyes will be on the Indian government on what they need to do. They can do a lot of cherry picking in terms of taking of lessons from other jurisdictions, but then cut, copy, paste of those foreign jurisdictions' legislations in the Indian context will not work because the Indian ground realities are different. In India, you have a new, unique business management methodology which is adopted by Indians. I call it the Great Indian Jugaad School of Management. When then everybody is doing Jugaad in the Indian context, you will have to again come up with your own customized legal approaches to deal with the challenges and the nuances thrown up by deepfakes. It'll be very interesting to see how further developments in this regard take place. I like to wind up here and ask if there are any questions to specifically answer that questions. There's lots we can talk, but I will be asked to talk on this limited aspect, so I thought I'll just limit my address to these issues. With that, over to you, Dr. Shukla.
Thank you very much, sir. If there are other question, anybody can ask now directly. Yes, sir is available. One question is there in chat box, sir.
Yeah, there's a question from Privi Dubey, who says, what skills should students learn to stay safe while using AI? Thank you. A fantastic question. Students, forget about students. Everybody today has to have a reboot. Why? Because with AI coming in, we are all on ground zero once again. And we'll have to unlearn and relearn things as we go forward in the context of AI. Why? Because AI provides new skill sets. AI has made knowledge as a commodity. In our times, writing books, reading books was important. Today, that's no longer important. Why? Because you just ask a question to AI and AI gives you an answer. So much so that people have stopped thinking. They are extensively relying upon artificial intelligence. And in that regard, I'm now beginning to see a new phenomenon. It's a phenomenon that I call is that of cognitive colonialism. Students, youngsters, users of AI have begun to start readily becoming cognitive slaves of big tech companies while they rust their intellectual capabilities. I think the first thing that we need to make students and all AI users learn is that handle AI with care. AI is like a river of fire. You must have a good fire suit as you travel through the river of fire, because this river of fire is going to impact you one way or the other. The problem is that AI is getting far more intelligent than humans. The problem is that AI has begun to start playing with minds of people. It's begun predicting your thought process. And it has already started impacting your thought process by pushing you in a direction that you may not necessarily be aware of. So I think we'll have to make AI literacy, AI education as an integral part of the school curriculum from the first standard onwards. It will be very imperative for every now AI user to come up with and do refresher courses self-help courses so that they can know what are the latest developments in this regard. It's best to use AI only as a tool, but today AI is no longer a tool. AI has become a actor, and therefore I believe that we all must be sensitized about how we need to deal with AI, use AI, how to use prompt command engineering, and more significantly, how to use AI in a limited manner so that our human freedoms of privacy do not prejudicially get impacted. See, our neuro rights need to be protected. We have a right to mental privacy. AI is disturbing our right to mental privacy. So we will have to come up with new legal frameworks to protect the neuro rights and other AI rights of individuals. But till such time that happens, the onus is on students, on every AI users, that they use AI intelligently. Let's not become artificially stupid by relying extensively on artificial intelligence. It's imperative that we must be very conscious and have an arm's length relationship with AI. We should be very, very conscious and not share any personal information with AI. We should, as far as possible, use AI when absolutely essential. And we should not allow AI to enable our mental cognitive faculties to rust. If we somehow are able to keep these broad things in a respective perspective, then to a large extent we will be in a much better position to deal with AI as a paradigm. I hope that answers that question.
Thank you very much, sir. Is there any other question? Please, most welcome. If anybody asks question or if you want to type question, then sir is available for answers.
I think it's a long day for your training program and everybody is tired and wanting to go, and today is already Saturday, but I think we've had some interesting times, a lot of interesting discussions and deliberations. But it's been a pleasure talking with you, with the entire faculty at the FDP. I'm available. Please feel free to reach out to me at any point of time. My email is very clear. It's pavan@pavanduggal.com, PAVAN@PAVANDUGGAL.com. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm doing a lot of cutting edge work on artificial intelligence. In fact, only yesterday, I concluded the international conference on cyber law, cybercrime, cybersecurity, which is the world's most authoritative conference on cyber law, cybercrime, cybersecurity. And this year, the theme of the conference was Artificial Intelligence Ecosystem, Opportunities and Challenges. We had 37 sessions, and out of which 22 had sessions only on different aspects of artificial intelligence. So we came up with an outcome document that's going to be available on the website cyberlawcybercrime.com. But this year has also been very, very exciting. I launched the International Artificial Intelligence Legal Framework Initiative, which is an a la carte menu of legal principles, which is made available to governments. Governments want to come up with new laws on AI, but have no clarity. So this a la carte menu gives a choice of legal principles to national governments of what they can pick and choose in this direction. We also organized the Global Summit on Artificial Intelligence, Emerging Tech, Law and Governance in July 2025. And I also organized the Global South Dialogue on Artificial Intelligence, Law and Governance in September. So there's a lot of cutting edge work that I'm doing in AI. We're doing various projects. So if anyone of you is interested, please be in touch with me. Be in touch. I'll be happy to see how we can collaborate. Also doing a lot of work with the government of India on this regard, including coming up with now legal principles of what should India keep in mind as India ultimately prepares to go for regulation of AI. We're also doing a lot of work internationally on artificial intelligence. So anybody in your faculty who's interested, who wants to work, or any of your students want to work in AI, we're happy to collaborate, work with them. My office has got various internships for students. I also run the Artificial Intelligence Law Hub for the last 9 years, where we look at the legalities of AI. And this year, I also launched the Global Institute on Artificial Law and Governance, which primarily looks at the way now how newly emerging AI laws are adopting new approaches for regulation of AI. So please feel free to revert back to me. It'll be a pleasure to work with you and your faculty members or your students. And together, we are at a very interesting cusp in our history. We will now be writing history, but AI is getting more stronger, and very soon we'll have an existential threat to humanity. Therefore, we'll have to have new mindset and new approaches as we deal with the same. With those words, I'd like to take your opportunity to take leave from you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to come and address to you online. It's been a pleasure talking to all of you.
Thank you very much, sir. We are having one more request.
Sir?
We need one photograph with you, sir. There will be.
Sure. Please, you want me to be properly.
So everyone, please on the camera. We are having very less time. So it's an opportunity to involve in the session with sir. Sir has given time to our FDP, so that's great for everyone. It is just taking time, sir. 30 seconds only because lots of people are there in the session.
No, I can understand. I see 127 participants or whatever.
Pravi, yes, you are doing this. No?
Yes, sir. Alka is doing.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I have taken the screenshot already.
So thank you very much, sir, for everything. We will. I think you will get several emails after this session because everybody wants to collaborate with you. Everybody wants to learn with you. So thank you very much, sir, for the great session and your precious time.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you to all the faculty for taking time out this afternoon for this session. It's a pleasure talking with you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Namaskar.
So we are having next session at 5 p.m. There are 20 minutes, so you can either you can be connected or whatever you want. So at 5 p.m. we are having last session of the day. Then 6:30 we will have official valedictory function for 15 to 20 minutes, and then 7:30 to 8:30 there will be a test which is compulsory for everyone, and there is a uh, minimum passing marks as we have mentioned on the website also, on the WhatsApp group also. So thank you very much, everyone. We will connect at 5 p.m.
You, sir. I see Dr. Arun Kumar has already joined the session. So, shall we start the session now?
Yes, yes, we can start now, please.
Dr. Arun Kumar, are you there in the meeting?
Yes, I am here.
Arun sir, most welcome again in
Thank you.
the
Thank you so much.
last session. I think you were there on first session also, first and last.
Especially.
So opening and closing
Yeah.
ceremony and session from your side. It's
Yeah.
great, sir.
Thank
So let us officially start the session. Privi, Alka, please start the session.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the final session of our 6-day faculty development program on addressing defamation claims in the age of deepfake, protecting security and privacy in democratic India. It's hard to believe we are already at session 13, wrapping up an intensive and insightful week. We have explored everything from the basics of AI and deepfakes to the legal and ethical challenges they pose. Now, we turn our gaze to the horizon, to what comes next. Our concluding topic is future trends, synthetic media, virtual humans, and the next generation of deepfakes. To guide us through this fascinating and critical subject, we have a distinguished expert who is no stranger to this FDP, having led session 1. Please join me in warmly welcoming Dr. Arun Kumar. Dr. Kumar is an assistant professor in the Department of Information Technology at NIT Jalandhar. He is also a former PhD scholar from IIT Indore and brings over 12 years of experience in this domain. His expertise is crucial for understanding the rapidly evolving landscape we are discussing today. Dr. Kumar, thank you for being here to deliver our final expert talk. Now, I would like to request Dr. Piyush Kumar Shukla, sir, to grace the event and invite the guest expert to start the session.
So again, I welcome you, expert. Uh, and definitely it's a closing session, so audience also have learned of all of the things very well, and now they are enjoying every session. And now this is the session which after this session they are having the test also today itself. So I request all the audience to learn and listen this session very carefully. So I request Dr. Arun to start the session. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, Piyush sir, for inviting me again at the closing session. So let me start this session. I'm sharing my screen. I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So thank you so much for inviting me again at this closing session. So again, this is Dr. Arun Kumar. I am an assistant professor at NIT Jalandhar. And so today's topic is future trends, synthetic media, virtual humans, and next generation of deepfakes. So let's start with what is future trends. So the first is why talk about the future? Like we have learned, we have seen what is deepfake. There are many experts have given the talks, and throughout their talks they have mentioned what is the deepfake and how we are creating it and how they are affecting the society. So now let's talk about what will be the future, somewhat about the future. So if we go in the past, and there, like, if I remember, it was the time of 2G when the network was not 3G, 4G, even it was 2G spectrum. So that time, I have seen several science fiction movies, and I was not able to believe that this will be happen in the future. And the exactly same thing happening nowadays because of this artificial intelligence. I hope many of you have seen the movies, Hollywood, especially Hollywood movies. They are showing the some science fictional things, but those things are actually becoming truth today. So, uh, in one of the movies I have seen, I think many of you have seen, there was a mother and there was a child. So AI was playing the role of the mother, and that child was thinking that she is actually a human, but she was not. So that was a human robot. So that was AI, and that was like before generative AI. That movie was before generative AI. So that was becoming true nowadays. Why? Because AI media is evolving faster than society can respond. These technologies are evolving very fast, even we cannot think. Or even a computer science background or a IT background person can think about it, but uh, the user who are not in this domain, they cannot think what is happening in the society. So this is our responsibility. Even after this deepfake session, we know about everything, or not everything means a lot, almost everything about the deepfakes, what these deepfakes are. So this becomes our responsibility, that how we can educate the society, how we can educate those people who are living out of this world. So because at every platform, at the social media, at news channel, we are using AI everywhere, and every time, even in 6 months, the companies, the tax companies are coming with new model, and they are doing something else. We are not expecting that result. So it means AI media is growing very fast. Then real and fake are merging. The thing is, we are now in the world where we have real uh, things and we have the fake things, because and then we are generating some new data which is the combination of both. So at this time, to find out which one is actually a real thing and which one is fake, this is challenging for us. Then, and even in the future, it will be growing more and more. Then power to create media is becoming universal. So as we know, the data, we are generating the data, everyone making the video, everyone has a smartphone, everyone has the laptop, everyone taking the picture every time. They are recording their voices, they are recording some event in the phone, and it is being stored at some place. So with this data, uh, because we are every time capturing the data, so data is accumulating at a place. And with this data, over the time, we can create more new things. So with the time, it is becoming the challenge for the society, uh, how we can tackle with this. So then you can see here in this image, this is a person and this is the model. It is taking the feature values of this person, and this is the feature space of some other person, or of a celebrity. So what it is doing, it is mixing both the faces and generating a new person who is actually not in the world. So this is something which is not actually a real image, but it looks very real. If we show it, this image to someone, he or she cannot say that this is not a person, this is not a real person, because everything is there. Every feature is realistic, looking very realistic. Background is uh, very realistic, so nobody can recognize, is it a synthesized photo or it's a real photo. So this is the rise of deepfakes. So we have seen lot of sessions as well, and uh, I hope everyone is know what is deepfake. Then let's come to next, that is major technologies converging. So as I am talking about, like we are collecting the data from everywhere. Every person is using a smartphone. A smartphone, we using a smartphone, we can record whatever is happening in the environment or near around you. So we can record that. It will be a video data, it will be a audio data, and even using the phone, we are using the super intelligence systems, for example, Chat GPT. So on the Chat GPT, every time we are asking something, we are typing a new prompt, and using the new prompt, we are asking this system a response for a response. So what is happening? It is taking new prompt every time, and it is training itself. So based on this new data, either it is text data, it is image data, it is video data, it is voice data, it is generating something new. And this is called synthetic media generation. Then digital and virtual human means digital and virtual humans means everyone knows nowadays what is an avatar. So they are people are using them at their profile. People are using them in a video. They are like I have seen even the faculties. What they do, they make a video of them for 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and then they train the system, then train this deepfake system. And this deepfake system, what it does, it train itself on that video, and based on that video it generates a new content, because those users pass the script to the systems learn that script, and based on that script it generates a new video. And you can see that if you will see those videos, they will be looking actually the realistic thing. Nobody can easily identify are they real or they are synthesized content. So it becoming the trend right now, because they looks very realistic. The if even if you are playing those videos, you will be looking very confident on in those videos. You will be looking like your voice will be very improved one, and your gestures and everything will be perfect. So this is actually a synthetic content. Then highly realistic deepfake engines. So now over the time we started with GAN, then we improved the GAN system, then we came to diffusion models, then we are working on the diffusion models, and based on GAN, now we are using GAN and uh, diffusion models, and using them we are generating a perfect scenario of the environment. So as we can see in this image, I have shown this image in the first session as well. So here you can see like this is the swap identity. So here is a person, and this is the target person, and this is the result. We will see today uh, uh, like how we can do with the experiment those things. So the new generated video will be using the you can say the features of a person and the scenario given in the other image, and based on the combination it generates a totally new image, which is also very realistic one. Using this deepfake, we can also change the gender of someone, we can change the personality of someone, we can change the audio of someone. So everything is possible nowadays, and this will be growing. It is not stopping here, it will be growing in the future, it will keep on growing. Why? Because we are collecting the data, and we are storing the data in the system, and system is training itself every time. So that becoming a challenging task every year, and every month is becoming challenging task for a human. how we can how we can identify these false content, these synthetic content, and they are useful in the many things. We are creating new content, we need less time, we can create new content in the less time, and it is very beneficial for us, and it is saving our time actually. If I remember when there was no chat GPT. So what we were doing, we need to explore everything. We need to explore everything on the internet. We need to explore everything from the books as well. So that was taking time. That process was very time taking. But after the chat GPT, it has changed everything. Nowadays, I have seen the people, they what we are doing in the 6 month, we were doing in the 8 month, they are doing those things even in 1 month only. They are writing code, they are executing those code, and they are coming with the results in the 6 month. They are learning new technique in the six in the even a month. They are learning new technique in a month. So that changed the everything. It has changed everything. And this is good in this way, like it is saving the time of a person, and a person can create new things. But at the same time, it is very concerning for the people. It is very concerning for the humans, because it is something some other person, or you can say a person who is not, we cannot see it. It is living with us everywhere, because we are living in the digital society. So in the digital society, it is recording everything. So in this time, we need to be careful, and we need to be apply those things whatever we are. Every speaker, every expert in this session is suggesting, that is actually the case. So what is synthetic media? AI generated image, video, voice, music, text. Yeah, we can create the music. Now there is no need of a team where one person is playing the guitar, one person is using some musical instrument, and they are designing a new tone. Then they are designing a new music. This is not the need. Right now the AI is capable of designing a new music. And we have seen a lot of things at the internet right now. You can see those a lot of things at the YouTube also. They people have uh, generated new content, and they have uploaded. And this is this what who is doing? The AI. You can you can generate your new music, even you don't know the music, you don't have any sense of the music, still you can generate new music. You can AI can sing. If you are passing the lyrics to the AI can sing in your voice, and it will make your voice perfect according to the that music. And you wouldn't believe after watching those things. So this is everywhere. So we need to be careful about that, how we can utilize them, and how we can be the uh, victim of this technology. So next is uh, next let's see one thing here. I think, I hope my video is visible. My screen is visible. So this is the model we are using here, several models. And using these models, what we can do, we are training this system. And in this system, there is a like, let me show you again. So it will take 1 minute only. Okay. So let's execute this. So in this, using this model, what we can do, we can take the features of a person, we can take the personality of a person, and the same personality and same expression we can apply on the other person. So other person will be looking like that it is mimicking someone. So like you have seen the artist, what artist does the artist does, he or she learn the person expression, gestures of some person, and then they mimic this thing. AI can do very easily. suppose this is Suppose this is the Mona Lisa. Let apply this on the Mona Lisa. So we are uploading an image of the Mona Lisa, And here is the video of a person we want to mimic, the expression only. So suppose I'm taking the Barack Obama, president, former president of US. So let's generate it. You can see how fast it is uh, uh, training this content and generating a video. See, let me play it. So we can see in this is very small video. This is the 8 seconds only. But in a 8 second, can someone believe that this is happening? Mona Lisa image is talking now. So images are becoming live. They were just a they were just a image for the society, but now they are talking. They are live. They are living within the society. So this is happening because of the deepfake technology. So okay. So next, evolution timeline. So it started with the GAN system. So it was started. There was the era of the GAN, 2014 to 2017. We came with the model. We will be explaining this model in the next slide. So we came with a model, and this model we are keep on uh, evolving this model, and this model was able in 2017 to generate images, realistic fake images. Then 2018 to 2022, there was another tech that named is uh, deep fake go public. Then 2023 to 2025, it was the hybrid model of diffusion, 3D, and multimodal AI. Multimodal means we are using here images, we are using here text, we are using here audios, everything. So that's why we call it a multimodal AI. And then now, like in the future, what will happen in the future? It will be fully synthetic reality, like everything. It's not just a single video. You can create, and nowadays also super intelligence system, for example, Sora. Using the Sora, this is this video generating system from OpenAI. Using this model, what we can do, we can create an environment. At that environment or that video, you will feel very realistic. Even you can create your story using this. You can explain your story to the system, and system will provide you with a video, and that video will be very realistic. Let's see one video from the Sora. So okay, so this was the totally deep. This was the video designed by this system, developed by this system. So it was not a realistic video. So this is not even if you see this video very carefully, you can identify there was a lot of things which were mismatching the video. But system keep on evolving itself, and in the near future, like in the until by 2023 sorry 2030, you will see that even finding or identifying a fake thing in the video will be very challenging task for a human. Okay, so let's talk what is how we can deep fake, how a person how a person can train a model, and how these model can deep fake a image or a data which is we are feeding to them. So let's start with at autoencoders. In the autoencoders, what we do, we train the system first. So this, suppose this is the autoencoder and I'm giving this image to this autoencoder. So what it does, it change this image and find out the latent features in the reduced space, reduced dimension or reduced feature space. There it focus on the latent features of the image, and then again it reconstruct the image. And every time what it does, it take different image, train itself and reconstruct that image again, and it keep on doing those things. Then using the autoencoders, you can generate new images. Suppose you are passing this image to this model. What this model will do, it will find out the latent space of this image. And again, for this image, it will find out the latent space. Now, what it will do, it will apply this latent space on this image and will reconstruct the image again. So you can see this image is the synthesized image which is created by using some other images. So this is autoencoder, and we have this was the very simple example, but nowadays there are a lot of we have like changed this, we have modified this system, and this system has become totally new, totally different than autoencoders. Then it was the GAN system. In the GAN system, how it works, we are passing a random image to the generator, and this generator, what it does, it apply it process that image, and using that image it creates a new content, it creates a sample content. And then there was a real image, it was the random image input. Using that random input, we generated some sample content here, and then we passed a real image, and using that real image, we are passing both the inputs to discriminator. Now what is the job of the discriminator? It is the job of the discriminator is to discriminate, as the name of this model, discriminator. Why we are calling it discriminator? Because this is the job of it. It differentiate between two two given inputs. One input of them is real one and other input is the fake. So it need to identify which one is real and which one is fake. So it generator generates new input, and it process new input and pass to the discriminator. Discriminate keep on discriminating the things until after some 100 number of iterations, discriminator will fail to identify which one is real and which one is fake. And this when the discriminator fails to identify the real image, this becomes a deepfake, because a machine cannot identify whether this image is real or original. It is so close to it is so perfect that real image and the fake image are the distance between them is 0. So discriminator is failing there. So this becomes deep fake content for the public, and So if a machine cannot tell, how a person can tell that this is a deep fake? Then other model that Sora and this is Dolly are using, this is diffusion model. So in the diffusion model, what it does, it takes a image, it adds the noise to the image and generates a new noisy image. Then again, what it does, it use the reverse process. Given on this image, it try to find out last image. Then given on this image, it tries to find this output. Then given this image, it tries to find out this. And doing this process, you can come with a new or reconstructed image, and it is very enhanced image. So same thing, if we enhance this model and we apply, like for example, in the Dolly, we are just giving the prompts, and based on the prompts, what it does, it generates a image for you. So this is actually a diffusion model. What diffusion model does, it takes the prompt, the embedding, text embedding, and based on the text embedding, and it takes a domain also. Like this is the image. And in this image, what it does is using the depth estimation, it find out these objects. There is a dog, there is a bird in this image. So a user is asking for a dog and a bird. So then it segments it, and it can fit a image, another clip or another image of a bird in the newly created image. So based on what is this, it is the trained model. It has a huge data set, and it is trained on that data set. So it has the weight, a large number of weights. So it has the weights for the birds, different birds. It has the weights for different dogs. It has the weights for other objects as well. So what it can do, it can fuse those things together and generates come with a new image. That is called diffusion model. That's why it is called diffusion model. So uh, deepfake frauds, because this is this technology is evolving with the time. So with this technology, the new things coming to the market, new content coming to the new generated synthesized content coming to the society. And in the society, very few or less people uh, know about what is deepfake. So that's why this technology is becoming weapon for the culprits, or weapon for the evil, or weapon for the person who want to fraud with the public. So what they do, they create deep fake videos, and using those videos, they try to uh, means manipulate the content, and using those manipulated content, they want to fraud financially, they want to blackmail the people, whatever thing they means they are successful in their goal. So same they can do with the audio, with using the audio they can create fake phone calls. Using the fake phone calls, they can create the voice of some person. Suppose I am a victim of them. So what they will do, they will make a phone call to me, and on that phone call, some my known person will be speaking, and he or she will be asking me some favor. And because I what I will uh, I will think that okay, the person is in some need, so I should help him or her. So uh, we need to be aware of these type of deep fakes. Then image manipulation also can be the weapon for them, and they can use those manipulated images uh, to believe the people that actually this is the real content, and according to that they can do, or they can ask to the public what they want. Then text deepfakes as well. They can create new fake news. They can create fake statements. They can create fake emails. So everything is possible even nowadays. So these are the video we have. These are the type of deep fakes we have also seen this content in the last slide. This is the number of research we are using, and means these are the research on deep fake. The like you can see, this is the paper from the Meta. This is the Facebook company, so parent company. So they came with movie gen Meta, a recent demo of video plus audio generation. They announced in 2024. Large multimodal model with dedicated video plus audio heads. So every big company are working on these technologies, and they are coming with a new model. They are improving these models, these technologies. For example, GAN, diffusion model, auto encoder, variational auto encoders, and so on, and making using them as a hybrid technology and coming with the some new version of the model. And this model every time is doing new things. So I heard like in 2024, NVIDIA is like for running this technology we need GPU. I think everyone knows it, that GPU is required for processing this content. So the company which is known to everyone, that NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is designing the GPUs, and these company were using their GPUs developed by NVIDIA. But in 2025, they started working and developing their own chips. Now Meta is also working on their own chips. Google is working on their own chip, and every other company which is investing in this AI domain, they are started developing their own chips. And NVIDIA now is in the like, this is the concerning thing for the NVIDIA. So that's the different thing. But you can think, what is the need of the time? These are giant uh, tech companies. They are developing their own chips. Why? Because this is becoming the need of the society as well. This is not that a case that this is evil for the society, but this is making very benefits for the society. So synthesize media in every life, personalized ad and avatar. Using the synthesized media, what you can do in the everyday life, you can create avatars. So everyone knows about avatar. We have talked about it. So this is the same person, but the person in the video, which is created by these deepfake models, those 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 videos are synthesized video, means they are generated by the system, and those which is called personalized avatar. The new AI news anchors. This is possible nowadays. AI, you need not a host in the news channel. AI is replacing them. AI, why? Because the generated video is so confident. The generated video gestures are so good. The generated videos, story, and everything is perfect. Everything. So that's why what they are doing, the news channels are doing, uh, they are using this technology. Then AI music production, as we have talked about it. So in the last slides. So using the AI, we can produce, we can generate new music. Even you don't know much about the music. What is, like, how can we can design new tune, how we can design new music. So using this trend system, you just pass the lyrics to the system, and this system, what it will do, it will sing that lyrics for you. Not even this, on the top of this, if you are passing your voice to this system will learn your voice, pattern of your voice, and it will generate the song which will be looking like you are singing actually. So what is this? I have seen this platform. This platform is Suno. So on this platform, what you can do, you can pass your record material, means your voice. You can upload your scripts. You can upload even music, and based on that, it will create something new. That is, and it will be very realistic. If you have not tried it, you can do. So this is what even actually this technology is doing. So this technology doing everything for the human. But same time, we need to be careful about it. What can be the disadvantages of this technology, and what government are taking the actions for safeguarding the people. So we will be discussing those in the new next slide. So AI influencers, we need not a influencer. Like we can create a AI influencer, and this that influencer will be presenting your content. Virtual fitness trainers. The fitness trainers can also be virtual. Then AI-based corporate training. Using the AI, we can provide the training to the newly joined people. So there is no need of some trained manager or trained uh, employee who will give the training to the newly joined members. So AI doing those things for a human, and this is why I'm listing those things. I'm listing these things in a good way. Means I'm not listing those things like this is against human race. This is against our creativity. This is something which is helping us. This is something which is giving us. This is something which is saving our time in every domain. But as we know that if something has the advantages, disadvantage with it, and the disadvantage we have talked about much about them. So future of synthetic content. So 100% AI generated movie and games. Let's see one video. So here in this video, you will see there is a person who is script what he did. He created his script. His script means, for example, he was very small. He was in the young age. Then he was living with some toys. He was living with some video games, and in a small room there was the world for him. And this was just a story, but he passed this story to the system, and system is generating a movie for him. So this is something what it can help us. AI can help us to create a new video, and this video will be according to our script. We need not to go somewhere. We need not to hire some actors. We need to hire some director. We need not to take purchase expensive cameras and all. Everything AI can do for you. What it needs just a script. Let's see this image. Very interesting. So this is what, and these are the futuristic synthetic content. This is what we are making this system very trained, and we have trained them, and we are evolving them so that they generate realistic content. They generate the content which looks like a real world for us. Why? Because we are running behind how we can make those things so perfect, so that they look very, very real. So in the future, this will not stop here. We will go with real-time AI redesign of environments using AR glasses, interactive news and holograms. AI become a co-creator, not a tool. Means AI will not just be like a tool what you are using. Using that tool, you are creating new data, new content, a new synthetic data. It will be designing with you. It will be suggesting you because it will be trained so well that it knows more than you. So it will be the time, then it will be suggesting, it will be telling, we can improve this feature and this will be the new thing. So this will be very soon as we are progressing towards our expectations. Now, what are the virtual, one second, what are the virtual humans? Virtual human means creating a human who is actually not there, and actually the content or that human is not recorded in this world, but it looks real. It looks very, very realistic to a person. So these are called virtual humans. Look real, they can move, they can talk, they can behave like a human, and can interact live. They lively interact with the people. They will be answering to the people. They will be listening the people, and they are using gestures. They are showing the emotions and everything. So this is called a virtual human. Type of virtual humans. So social influencer, for example, Lil Makila. Then customer support AI call agents. AI calling nowadays, I think everyone knows about it. Digital artist, AI generated musicians. I have shown one of the platforms, Suno, and at this platform you can generate new music. Corporate bots, virtual HR and sales. Like every bank are using nowadays these bots. Every university are using these bots. So they are everywhere. You can ask them and they are replying to in a real time to a human from their data, the data they have. Celebrity clones, brand endorsements. So this is happening by what type of by the virtual human. So you can see AI is everywhere. So with this, what we need to do for making like we need to use it as a assistive tool. We need to use at a so that it can help us. We need not to become a puppet of them. Why? Because this is made by us. We are not made by them. So future use case, AI therapist and counselors, because AI, we can train a model on a data set and they can be the counselor for a patient. They can be the counselor, they can counseling for the patient, counseling for new insights in the study as well. Digital teachers personalized to your learning style. Digital teachers are also will come very soon in the society. They will be teaching teaching the human race. virtual politicians during elections. Yeah, uh, it will be very soon when need not to go everywhere. Need not Politicians need not to go every city. What they can do, they can create a virtual video, and that virtual video will be screening on a big screen, and people can see there, and it will be looking like that actually a politician is interacting with them. Then celebrities working after death. Celebrities, like everyone has favorite celebrities. Either it need this is not the case that this is the cinema only. Everyone in the every field, in every their own domain, they are those experts are celebrity for someone. So after the death, they person can see them working. This can be the use of the AI. Virtual companion, friends, and partners. They are the people who don't want to interact with the real uh, people in the world. So what they can do, they can interact with the AI, and the AI is becoming their virtual friend, their virtual partners. They will be listening their emotions. They will be talking according to uh, that those emotions only. So this is going to become a real world very soon. And even you can see in the society those things are already there, but they are not so perfect. But in the near future, as the system is evolving, as the data is keep on accumulating, the system will be more trained. They will be keep evolving themselves, and they will be very close to the realistic things. So challenges, what are the challenges? Those are the advantages for the tech for of these techniques. But same time, we have some challenges. What those challenges are? Identify theft of celebrities, emotional dependency, political manipulation, intellectual property dispute. So what can be like, there is no politician has said something, but on the social media there is a video where a politician is saying about something about a topic, and it is becoming concerning, or it is creating uneasiness in the society. Emotional dependency, like you are depending on, like we have talked about the virtual companion and friends. So if some person is virtually depending on on the AI platform, so it may be the case that people will start to live alone, and they are talking with the AI because it is understanding them. It is understanding them better. Why? Because it is listening, it is observing the pattern, it is observing the uh, what a person tried to say, and AI will react in the way the person feel comfort. This is not the case with the human. If someone is sharing something with me, so I will be realistic. I will reply. I will respond on the things which are real, not fake. But AI, what AI can do, AI need not to be think about those parameters. AI just will response in a way that the person will think that somebody is pacifying me. So this can become a emotional dependency. Then intellectual property disputes, yeah, it they will become a problem as well. So deepfake today, mostly videos, celebrity and political and fraud calls. These are everywhere. So deepfakes in 2026 and 35, what it can do, it uh, means in the near 2030, what you will see, a hybrid, totally hybrid model. You have seen even in the Sora. I have shown you the Sora clip. I have shown you a person who is telling a story and story, creating that story by a video. So what is this happening? This is something which is new. Music is there, means audio is there, video is there. Uh, he or she is learning, speaking, suggesting something. So everything is there. So what a person is passing just text to the system, and based on that text, this AI system is generating everything without any consuming any resource. So in the 2000 by 2030, you will see the perfection in those things. This is some, if you will see those videos very carefully, you can identify, okay, this is not a realistic video. But in the near future, you will see that you cannot even identify. So AI will fake content, not just faces, fake events, fake disasters, fake news channel, and those can become the concerning thing for the society. Those uh, can these fake disasters or fake news can become the disaster for the society itself. Hyper realistic crowd, protest, speeches. So this all can happen in the society. Criminal use forecast. So large scale election manipulation, CEO fraud that is happening now already. Fake ransom calls with cloned child voices, like creating a fake voice. It will be looking like it will be very like very similar to someone's child. So this can be used as a weapon. AI romance scam, stock market manipulation, like a CEO or a very famous figure is saying something about the stock. For example, uh, uh, like any, for example, Sundar Pichai is saying something